Okay, we call the meeting to order at 6:37 p.m. Good evening, welcome everybody to the September 18th, 2023 special joint meeting of the Library Commission and the Parks and Recreation Commission. This is a hybrid meeting with commissioners, city staff and members of the public participating at the Belhaven Branch Library in accordance with public health guidelines for in-person meetings, and members of the public participating remotely as well. We'll start with a roll call first. I'd like to introduce the commissioners and staff present. So we'll start with the Parks and Recreation Commission first. We have Chair Maureen Bunyakit, Commissioner Jessica Gill-Martin,
here.
Commissioner Wanman Lee, Commissioner Kelsey Theriault.
Can you speak up?
I will do, yep. And then on the Library Commission, we have Commissioner Ada Chen-Recki.
Here.
Commissioner Alan Cohen. Here. Commissioner Katie Hadrovich.
Here.
Commissioner Carol Orton.
Here.
Vice Chair Padneet Singh. Here. Commissioner Jennifer Wise. Myself, Chair Vamsi Velagapuri. And staff present includes Library Commission Community Services Director Sean Reinhardt, Assistant Library and Community Services Director Nick Schechter, Interim Library and Community Services Manager Rondell Howard, Library and Community Services Supervisor Tricia Mullen, and Management Analyst Ashley Walker. Ashley will be helping facilitate the meeting. Ashley, would you please take a moment and provide instructions to the Commission and members of the public on how the meeting will proceed?
Thank you, Chair. For members of the public who are attending this meeting virtually and wish to provide public comments, after the Chair calls for public comment on the item you wish to speak on, please engage the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen. For those who are calling in from a landline or cell phone, please press *9 to raise your virtual hand. For members of the public attending in person, there are speaker cards available on the table at the front. Please complete one and turn it into staff before the public comments is called for the item you wish to speak about. Because tonight's meeting is a special joint meeting, there will be no call for general public comments. Therefore, public comment will be limited to the items on the agenda. However, members of the public are welcome to send feedback on any subject to the online suggestion box at menlopark.gov/feedback or in writing in the suggestion box. If there are a large number of public commenters, the time limit may be adjusted by the chair in order to allow everyone a chance to comment. When your turn for public comment has arrived, staff will unmute you. With that, I'll return the meeting to the chair.
Thank you, Ashley. So we'll begin tonight with the only item on the agenda, item C1, a study session on opening a 4-week public comment period for Menlo Park residents to offer their feedback and suggestions for potential names and or dedications for the facilities and major programs to be located in the Menlo Park Community Campus now under construction. Library and Community Services Director Sean Reinhardt will introduce the item. Sean.
Thank you, and thanks everybody for coming out tonight. We do have a presentation that kind of walks through what was in the written staff report. And then I believe we'll go on to public comment and discussion. Just to be very clear at the outset, this is the beginning of a 4-week public comment period on this topic. There will be no decisions made tonight about names or dedications related to the new facility. It's really just the beginning of a process. Also, I want to point out that neither the Library Commission, whose members are here, or the Parks and Recreation Commission, whose members also are here, neither of those bodies have decision-making authority about the name of the new facility or the programs in it. That fully rests with the City Council, and that will come at a later time. So with that, I'm gonna turn to the, we're gonna put the presentation on the screen. Joining me in delivering this presentation are Mr. Howard and Ms. Jones, who were introduced earlier, and I believe Ms. Jones is going to kick us off. Just waiting to get the presentation on the screen here, so just give us a moment. 5. Posted as well. I should think about the sheet.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll be starting right now. It's just a little lag, so there we go.
One little, just to turn off this little window right here.
All right, thanks again for joining us. And just to get started, we'll go over the purpose of the study session. As Sean mentioned, the city council is the sole decision-making authority for naming or dedicating city facilities. The PRC, the Parks and Recreation Commission, and the Library Commission are advisory bodies to the city council and have no decision-making authority related to naming or dedicating city facilities. There will be no decisions or recommendations about specific names or dedications during this meeting tonight. So the study session is part of a multi-step process that the city council established to help inform the council of decision-making when it comes to potential names and dedications for the facilities and for the major programs that are located at the Menlo Park Community Campus Project, which is, we're calling it MPCC for now. The purpose of this joint study session is to hear the community input, to provide background information, and also to inform the Parks and Rec Commission and the Library Commission about the naming process that was established by the city council. So the recommendation was a study session, which is why we're here. The Parks and Rec Commission and the Library Commission will open up a 4-week public comment period for Menlo Park residents to come in and offer feedbacks and suggestions. Any comments that we have received previously will be retained. At the end of the 4-week public comment, the commissions will have another joint meeting. Right now, that's tentatively scheduled for October 25th. The Parks and Rec Commission and the Library Commission will consider all of the input that has been received. They'll also review the naming policy, and then they will recommend to the city council up to 3 names or dedications for the overall facility, and then up to 3 potential names or dedications for each of the 5 programs that will be housed in that facility. So the city council decision process, they're gonna review what the Parks and Rec Commission and what the Library Commission recommends to them in either November or December. Right now, we do not have a date for that, but we'll pass that on once we know what that is. The city council will have the final decision on the name and or dedication for the overall facility, as well as the 5 major programs that are housed inside that facility. Now I'll pass it on.
Thanks, Natalia. I have the next few slides. If we go forward there. Thanks, Rondell. So, just some background information. The city council established a naming policy some decades ago, and they just updated it this year. Really just by making a couple of minor tweaks to it, nothing major. But they did that update on March 14th of this year. What that policy does is it establishes the procedure and the criteria for either dedicating or naming a new facility, or the individual programs that are inside of a facility, or in the event of like renaming or rededicating a previously named park or playground or other building under the city's jurisdiction. And I won't walk through this, but here's the naming policy on these two slides. If needed during the discussion, we can kind of refer to what they say. This is also included in the staff report that went out with the agenda tonight, so I won't dwell on it, but it's here for reference. And that's these two slides. So we can go to the next one. They wouldn't all fit on one slide, so it's cut into two. Next slide, please. Okay, and just a quick summary. In January of this year, City Council directed the staff to work on that update to the naming policy, which was done, and to begin a process to include robust community input to help inform the City Council's decision about, first, a name or dedication for the overall new building. Right now, it's just the working titles, Menlo Park Community Campus. So we're gonna use that word, or MPCC, just to refer to the building so we all know what we're talking about. The second thing for City Council is to identify names or dedications for each of the 5 major programs that are gonna be in that building. That's the library, that's the senior center, that's the youth center, the aquatic center, and the recreation center. And then any recognitions that the City Council may want to make for individuals or groups who have donated toward the costs of, say, the furnishings, the art, or other portions of the building. That was January 24th. Fast forward to March 14th, I've already mentioned, the City Council updated the naming policy at that time. They authorized the process that we're in right now with robust community input to help inform the City Council's decision about naming or dedications. At that time, the initial thinking was to do this process back in the spring. At that time, on March 14th, City Council directed staff to move this process to the fall now, because in the spring, they asked us to prioritize developing the programming plan for the new facility, how it was going to operate. So we took care of the programming first, and now we're back to naming. So on that current timeline now, fast forward to today. Today, the Parks and Rec Commission, Parks and Recreation Commission, and Library Commission are opening a new 4-week public comment period for Menlo Park community members to offer input and suggestions related to naming. As Natalia mentioned earlier, we have all the comments from that were received previously, and those are still part of the process. So don't worry, we didn't lose those. Then next month, October 25th is the date we're targeting for the 2 commissions here to meet again, and that will be here in this library to consider all the community input at that point. Again, the City Council direction, the naming policy, and then make those recommendations that Natalia mentioned. Up to 3 potential names for the new facility, up to 3 potential names for each of those 5 programs. Then in November, maybe December, is when City Council would review those recommendations, any additional community input, and then make decisions about those things. The name of the overall facility or campus, and then each of the 5 programs. And I just want to be clear, I know this kind of came up a few times in the spring. Again, the City Council is the decider for naming of this new facility and the programs. The City Council has that right, and that's reaffirmed in the city's agreement with Facebook, now Meta, who's building the new center, that the city ultimately has the rights to naming the facility, subject to just meeting and conferring with Facebook. And I think that's just in case, for some reason, the name selected, they need to know what it is before they put it on the board. And that's what's in the agreement. Ultimately, the City Council's decision, what we've got here is just a rendering of what one of the interior spaces will look like in the new building, the makerspace on the 2nd floor. And then I think Rondell has the next few slides.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. So just to go over the next couple of slides that you guys are gonna see, it's just gonna give us some elements of, the five, programs that'll be housed in the new MPCC. With current facilities, the previous and what was happening before. So we'll just go through that. The first one we'll go through is the Bellhaven Branch Library, which we're sitting in right now. So currently located where we are, 413 Ivy Drive. Same location. It will be relocated once the new building is done. So once that's done, everything here will be not shipped over, but moved over to the new facility. The new facility includes a new expanded area that spans over 2 floors. So an upstairs and downstairs. Upstairs will be the adult library, downstairs will be the children's library, with other features as a new makerspace, children's outdoor patio, tutoring, studying rooms, as well as a student zone. And again, the current location is here. It's part of the Bellhaven Elementary School site, which is owned by Ravenswood City School District. And once we're done here, the school district will retain the space once we're out. And so that's our Bellhaven Branch Library. The next is our Bellhaven Pool. So formerly located at 100 Terminal. It was demolished in June of 2021 to make room for the new project that's happening right now, the MPCC. The aquatic programs are not being provided at the moment. So, but once the new building is up, that's where everything will be located at, the new programs, and the new facility with the new aquatics program will have a performance pool, family splash pad, other features, instructional pools, things of that nature. And so that'll be the new Bellhaven pool once the new facility is completed. Next on this list is the Bellhaven Youth Center, which was again formerly located at 100 Terminal. And again, that was demolished the same time as the pool, June 21st of 2021, June of 2021. The youth center now, if you guys have been to Kelly Field, it's a portable that sits in the parking lot area. And that's where the after school has been held since this entire time of the new construction. The youth program, of course, once the building's done, we'll move everybody and all the materials into the new building. But the new building will have a new enhanced youth center with new outdoor and indoor play areas, a new kitchenette, some new, like we said, the new play structures, bathrooms, everything will be upgraded with a couple other features as well. Next is our Menlo Park Senior Center. The Senior Center, again, was once located at 100 Terminal. It has been demolished, but it was relocated to our Ariada facility that's located on the Burgess campus. Programs have been running ever since. That move was in May of 2021, and it's been open during this whole entire interim time. The new facility, once the new facility does open and we move back, again, the senior center will have a bunch of new spaces, lounge area, dining area, a front door terrace, a front space terrace, a new event hall, movement studio, access to movement studios, and the other features within the building. So now our seniors are not actually in the opposite building or a building that's next to the facility like it was in the past. They'll actually be all inclusive in one area. So now our seniors, moving wise, are relocating to another program. It won't be too much of a hassle. So it's a good plus for us going that way. And then lastly, the Oneida Harris Community Center. That was once again at 100 Terminal, demolished June 21st, and just like the other projects, but moving back in once the new project is done. Most of our programs that were being held at that time are not being held right now, with the exception of a few classes. Some of the classes are being held remote. One class is being held here in the Bellhaven Library. So we have been able to do some classes in the interim time. So that's a plus, but it's just we had to scale down, and they've been working well. But again, once this new facility is up, once the MPCC is complete, we can also look forward to a new facility as a gymnasium, a fitness center, finishing it, which we all would like to see, a movement studio, new locker rooms and showers, classroom space, and a brand new maker space as well to complete that, to complete all the features. And then next, I'll have Natalia go back.
Okay.
Speaking.
And so what we have here is, what we have.
Oh, sorry.
The picture of the first floor, which is the children's library. And so current names of major programs. Each of the 5 major programs will be located together in the new multi-service facility. The programs that we mentioned, library, aquatic center, youth center, senior center, recreation center. So previously, each of them had their own name or their own assignment. We've discussed these, the Bellhaven Branch Library, Bellhaven Pool, Bellhaven Youth Center, Miller Park Senior Center, Onetta Harris Community Center. But now that they are now in one, they are now housed, they were previously housed separately, but now all of them will be they will be under one house. Each program will have its own distinct area in the facility. It'll be marked by signage. It'll be in official city directories. It will be unique in its own way, but it'll also be able to work together. So a lot of collaborations, a lot of synergies going on in that one program that's gonna house all 5 of the programs that we have. So prior to being demolished, to make way for the MCC project, as I mentioned, the facilities were all located in their own standalone and had each other's name. There is no record of a single overall name having ever been assigned to the overall cluster of facilities. So normally that's called the campus by city council. We didn't have that name. The former monument sign, which we'll show soon, at 100 Terminal Avenue, it listed all of the different programs that were housed at that facility. Next picture. Show it. So this was the former sign, and as you can see, each program had its own name. And it even had Kelly Park on there. Right now, we're not looking at renaming Kelly Park, but this showed all of the different programs that were housed at 100. So going forward, there will be a new monument sign located next to the street on Terminal Avenue, and it'll be for letting everyone know what's in there. There will also be a main building sign at the beginning of the building. This project includes a sign over the main entrance into the new building to identify the buildings to visitors. The new building will have a single consolidated main entrance and entry sign. So different from previous facilities, if you guys remember the old campus that showed where all of, pointed out where all the different buildings were, this will be one main sign with the main entrance. There will also be wayfinding and room signs. So this project includes signs in each of the areas so that it's a simple way to find out where you are throughout the building, throughout the campus. You'll be able to find individual programs that you are looking for. There's also a dedication plaque that will go in the building. It is customary for new buildings to have a dedication plaque. This plaque will display the year or the day that the building was completed or that the building was dedicated. It'll recognize individuals or entities that were significant in the project. Sometimes it's elected officials, sometimes it's certain architects or builders, whatever it was that helped make that building become a reality. So there will be a dedication plaque as well. And so here is a picture of the first floor of the building. Rondell mentioned a lot of these areas, but you'll see the front entry and lobby. There's the senior lounge. The senior will have their own area. There's the kitchen. Let's see here. There's the kitchen. And then there's a terrace in the front, right outside the senior lounge. But there's also a terrace in the back outside the kitchen. And on the first floor, we have the children's library. Again, there's another terrace. And next to that, there is the youth center and playground as well. And then the gym, that's not. Really showing. That's there as well. So that's the first floor. And then on the second floor, you see our fitness room with the movement studio. You see the adult library inside of there. We have a study room or a tutoring room, as well as a teen room, so they can have their own area. There's a conference room back there and the maker space with another terrace. There's a kiln room in there, another classroom as well, so that's the second floor. I think this is outside
The back.
The back terrace. So that's another picture of the back terrace. And all of the-
Council back, yeah.
It's
If I-
wrapped in there.
So just two more slides and then we can move on. So public input. So members of the public can share written comments and suggestions related to this project by going online, by submitting comments online through the feedback form at menlopark.gov/name. You can also have a paper suggestion box. We have them at each location, recreation, at each library, recreation center that we have. So this library, the library that's over on the Burgess campus, as well as the Arriaga Recreation Center and the gymnasium. So you can always go there, fill something out or drop it off. You can also mail it in by sending it to the city of Menlo Park, 800 Alma. You can send it there, and then public comments, again, as mentioned earlier, will be accepted all the way through until October 25th. A compilation of all the written public comments received will be published in a report at the next PRC, at the next Park and Recs and Library Commission meeting on the 25th of October. And it'll be in a report to the city council as well. So next steps for the naming process, again, on October 25th, the staff will present to the Parks and Rec Commission the information to help and support recommendations that's going to go to the city council. So a compilation of all the written public comments received through various feedback channels will be compiled. A summary of all the public feedback that's received, and then a brief review of the naming process and the city council's direction related to this whole process will be explained again. And then also we'll have the matrix of the naming and our dedication opportunities to aid our Parks and Recs, our Park and Rec and our library library commission's discussion and recommendations for this process. It's a lot, I know it's a lot, I'm sorry, but thank you. And with that, we'll pass it back to our chair.
Thank you, Rondell, Natalia, and Sean. So Ashley, we'll move to public comment now. So Ashley, can you check if we have any public comments?
We do have quite a few public comments, so we have at this time, potentially 71. But we can't hear her. Oh, sorry, but we don't know.
Yeah, stand up and read it. I can't hear you.
I was just mentioning that at this time, for the chair's knowledge, at this time, we potentially have 71 public commenters. So I'm only letting you know that in case you wish to adjust the time. So
I don't know why you guys have microphones. PA system, something.
We'll speak up. So we have 71 public commenters at the moment. I think maybe it's worth just adjusting the time down to at least 2 minutes per comment.
at this time, if you'd like to make a public comment on this item, please bring your public comment card forward. If you're on Zoom, please notify the staff liaison by using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you're dialing in, you can use *9 to engage the raise hand function. And so I'm going to start with in-person attendees who have already turned in cards, and we'll go in the order that they were received. Israel? Harris?
All right, I'll speak loud enough for everyone to hear.
Thank
you.
Place the microphone, so.
Well, I think they're more important. Thank you all for coming today. It's been a long process and really great to see all of you guys here today. For, family and friends, thank you for being a part of this. Those in opposition, thank you as well, because a lot of times in our community, we don't come together. And, I hope that we can all respect each other here today. More than anything. Okay? I saw a quote earlier that said, from Ralph Waldo Emerson, that said, people don't realize that their words and their opinion is a light into their, into their, it's like a, it's been a long 4 years. It guides us into their character. Sorry. So one thing that my uncle reminded me of when, just a few weeks ago was that he would say, be good to each other. In this community, sometimes we don't do that. But whether we agree or don't agree, hope that we can all come back when the center opens. Just remember each other. Okay? So that's it for all you guys here, because we don't always come together, but so it's really important that you guys understand that, okay? Show some respect. That's all. Everyone here in the commission, and I don't know if you guys knew that this is on the job description, but you guys are here now. And you're here because this matters to us all here today. Okay? It's one thing to say you like to have it named after my grandmother or named after something else. That doesn't help you. You've never met her. You've never met anyone in this community that's of the elders. It's up to us to help you get to that point to understand what this means to us as a community. Okay? Thank you all for teaching me a lot of what matters in this community. What matters is that everyone's recognized, that we feel respected, that we feel heard. When we started this process years ago, we were worried that we were going to be marginalized, that we were going to be muted. And we can't have that. But I can't expect you to understand. Why would it matter to you? Unless you guys actually understand and have a path towards understanding. So I think a lot of you guys when I see you guys here, honestly, I see my grandmother be on the commission. She'd be a city council member. She might be working for the city. But she would be doing things that mattered. And one thing she would for sure say is, you have to actually take into account other people in the community as well that have done great things. What we've done is, we want to recognize not just my grandmother, but other people in the community that you might not know. Heard a lot of great names and a lot of information that people didn't know way more than I would ever know. But it's been great learning from you all during this time. And hopefully we can all share that tonight in a respectful manner and help them. Because they don't know what they don't know. But they're not going to hear it if we don't say it clearly and with respect. Okay? So I'm here to hear everything. We're all here to hear everything. There's 72 people here that all want to be respected. Okay? So I have a list here. I think that she would want as far as like a recommendation for some names, whether you want to use it or not, that's up to you. If you want to talk offline about it, that's great. If you don't, I have plenty of other things to do too. So I'd like to give you guys these just to kind of take a look at to help you in a direction as far as just names, not just of Onetta Harris, but of the community, people that actually matter. Sorry, I cry in every public. That's what I do. But again, what this is about is given the time and the space, and please, if I don't see you when it's center open, it didn't matter that much to me. Okay, so when it's center open, everybody better come back here again with the same energy that you do have tonight.
Do we two contact each other? Are we gonna be allowed in this business? Some big men have signed on it already. If I'm up here talking, that means you got a shot, right? You're talking and you got a shot, right? Right? Keep in mind.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Yeah.
Donnie Burns. Oh, Burns, sorry.
It's all right, I can't write. First of all, I want to congratulate everybody, what a beautiful facility you're getting ready to get. I mean, I want to congratulate the community. And it's such a nice community, a community that's deep and rich and built upon the lives of so many people that have come before us. And we're the recipients of some of their good actions. But right now, I'm here for Onetta Harris. to be clear. I'd like the Harris family to stand. And I've been blessed to be a long-standing friend of the family, knowing Mrs. Harris and the legacy that she's left here. And there's an old saying in tort law, receptio locator. The act speaks for itself. Her heritage is here with us. We're standing up for, we can't allow her to be forgotten. We as African Americans have come to this country, were brought to this country with no name. We were given names. And each of us have a name that we've had to fight to establish, to give credit to build upon, be proud of. And we have to fight against the dying of that light. Someone cannot erase the works, the deeds, the heritage of such an important family. And I know that it's important that we allow ourselves to stand on the shoulders of those who've come before us. And we cannot allow your heritage and history, because one day someone will stand on your shoulders. So we all stand upon those that come before us. So anyway, I just want to congratulate the community, Common Unity, for its effort to continue to grow with a fantastic facility. And a facility that is meant for everybody, and everybody should have a place. And I know that the works and deeds of the Harris family in this community deserve a significant place in that facility. Thank you very much.
Daryl Barbour.
First of all, thank you for allowing me to speak. I grew up a couple of blocks from here, 236 Terminal. I went to school here. And I can just remember Ms. Harris walking the hall, walking the yard with this big, beautiful afro. But just encouraging us to be better, giving us hope. No matter what was going on around the community, she was always giving us hope. I have to bring up something that happened the last meeting that was here on August 29th. There was a lady that spoke. I don't know her name, but she said some very vicious and disrespectful things about Miss Harris. Her tone or voice made me feel this was more than about the naming rights. Seemed like it was deep and personal. I felt there was some jealousy mixed in with some envy towards someone who can't defend herself. So we're here to defend her. I read some earlier today. I said, what is truth? The meaning of the word is not what it may feel or wish were true. we may avoid the truth, or water it down, or cover it up. Previously, when we first started this process 3 or 4 years ago, there was spoken 2 times publicly that the name wasn't even gonna come up. We were told they weren't gonna change the name twice. But here we are. You know, so that's very frustrating. Again, what is true? Over this country, institutions and people are changing living boundaries to take our voice away for voting. I vote. But they're trying to do that to us. Okay? Schools and colleges are trying to change how to teach our history, Black history. And then I think in some ways, this is what's happening to us now with this situation. That they're trying to take away that history. No matter how much this community changes, because this community has changed, and I think we all know why it changed. Facebook Net. Not hard to figure out. So that's why one of the main reasons why this community has changed. But for me, no matter how many times you can tear that building down, build another one. In East Menlo Park, in the Bell community, Annetta Harris legacy should always be up front, center of the building forever. Her history is our history. Thank you.
Edmund E.J. Harris.
How you guys doing today? Good. Thanks for having me. I'm up here to speak about my grandmother. I'm the same age as this park's name. My grandmother passed in 1982, and I was born that same week. So this park has always lived with me and lived with my family. I grew up in Los Angeles, but this has always been like ground zero, the headquarters for our family. And changing the name is like, it's trying to tear up the history, like Mr. Barber was just saying. We all know, I study history. Whenever an invader comes into a country, first thing they do is they change the names. Because if you change the name, then guess what? Then you can't remember who you are, your point of origin, and where you came from. Onetta was here, during the Civil Rights Movement. There's a lot of people, Black Panthers, different people who came to this community, all right, and fought against oppression on her particular home, on Terminal. And by getting rid of her name, we get rid of all those stories, all those things that we've overcame over this time. And so it's very important that legacy stands. And this shouldn't even be much of a debate because 9 years from now, this would be a historical site. You couldn't change the name. I even looked at it, I've looked at that. So we're like 9 years at it. Facebook comes in here and the facility is beautiful. I think it's awesome. I think that the kids in the community should have these opportunities and things to have, but they also should remember their history, who are the people who built this community. That's really important. So I really think it's really important that you guys take initiative to keep that going. I'm not really here to ask for it. It should happen. This is not much of a conversation. That's why you have all these people in here. And so I look forward to you guys making the right decisions and keeping Onetta's name alive. Thank you.
The pen's a little light here. Karen Browder.
Yes, I don't know what's good for Ashley Karen. I don't talk very loud. But anyway, I've been living in this community for 50+ years. I knew Mrs. Harris. I remember when they changed the name to Annetta Harris. And I heard someone say in another meeting that they didn't understand why they had changed it because she hadn't done that much. And that is so untrue. I'm gonna read some of the stuff that I found out that I didn't even know that she had done. But what I do know is that I met her, I knew her actually before high school, but I knew her better in high school. She was always around, encouraging us kids telling us what we needed to do and helping us figure things out. She was a part of the Charles Drew Medical Center, which was the medical center for Menlo Park in East Palo Alto. She was a board member of the Charles Drew Medical Center. She was a community activist. Some of the things that I didn't know that she did was that she was chairman of the neighborhood housing in this area. She was, I said, Charleston Medical Center. She was assistant principal to the Delhaven Community school, the elementary school. She represented the heart and soul of this community. She did so much. I don't know anybody in this community that did as much as she did. And I can't think of anybody that's more deserving of the community center than he is. I know people were saying maybe we should give a name and Meta because he purchased or he paid for this thing that's happening over there now. And, you know, this man has over $100 billion. This is just a drop in the bucket, in his bucket, for him to pay for that. It should absolutely not be named Meta because he paid for it. Because it doesn't, you know, that money doesn't really mean anything to him because he has so much of it.
Yes,
But I really can't think of anybody that's more deserving than her, because she has done more. She's a single person that's done more in this community, I think, than anybody else. There's people that have done different things. I'm not saying that nobody has done anything, but she singly has done more than any one person in the community. So please consider naming it after her or continuing in that name, because she deserves more than anybody else. Thank you.
Roy Goodwin.
First, give it honor to God. My 92-year-old mom right back there. And Miss Onetta Harris, may she rest in peace. I want to start by saying that she was a mentor. She was a leader. She was a part of the village that helped raise me. I went to the school too. So basically to be real about it, this board here, both of these panels reflect the current community. 2% Black after all this gentrification.
Right.
I'm just keeping it real. You know, I ain't pulling no punches now. Come on. It's terrible that we must repeatedly attend meetings to express our concerns about this renaming. It shouldn't even be an issue. Shouldn't even be an issue. I mean, just because, like the lady before me said, just because the man paid for it doesn't mean that we need to name it Meta. I mean, we have nothing, pretty much nothing left here. We had to fight for Clark Park down the street. As a youth, I was employed through the youth employment program at Burgess Park, at the planning commission, in the planning department. Now, Burgess Park has been renovated 50 times over. They ain't renaming it. As a child, we played youth sports against Hillview, La Entrada, and Encino. I'm wondering whether or not their parks have been renovated and, you know, renamed or whatever. Why are you guys picking on us?
Schools. All schools are Spanish.
Wow. Wow, I pretty much put it all into a nice little pack for you guys to digest tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandra Green. Sandra Green. She's coming. Miss Green.
Good evening. Bear with me, okay? I'm new at this. My 15-year-old granddaughter asked me, why do we need to change the name? You know, how many pieces of silver are we willing to sell out for our history? And it really kind of bothered me because she's like, you know, in the schools down South Florida, she's like, this is some DeSantis stuff. You want to take our history away from us. I've been here since 1959. This is 4 generations. And when she asked me that, I was really kind of shocked because I didn't think she was paying attention to me. But she was really concerned about it. So I felt obligated, plus I have homework because I have to go home and report to her. She just wanted to know why, how much are we selling out for? What is he gonna take from us next? We're gonna change Bellhaven? And then she's like, you know, it's like you guys have been here forever. So you guys never made any contribution to the community.
Yeah.
So now we got a great white hope coming in and, you know, to save us. And that's not what's happening. Miss Harris took care of all of us. Well, the majority of us out there, you know, and she didn't even have to know us, but she would keep us in line. So I just want you guys to take that into consideration. Thank you. Great.
David Harper.
How y'all doing? David Hartford, owner of Barton Stop Middle Park, company in Beer Care. Want to speak about Onetta Harris and about her life story. Life story is your legacy. You leave to your heirs, your community, your family, your friends. You leave that legacy when you pass. You know, that's all we have. You know, and her story is great. She got a great story, y'all. I didn't learn about it just recently, like you guys learned about it. I learned about it when I was a kid, by asking, by seeing it on the buses, on the buildings, and saying, "Who was that? Who's Onetta Harris?" And they would say, "Great woman from the community, did this, did that." Senior's there because of her. I learned by asking, "Who's Onetta Harris?" So if we take that from our kids now, they won't be able to ask, "Who's Onetta Harris?" Of course, we'll tell them her story's so great, they're gonna know anyway. But as a kid going to the center, I walk in there and say, and also working there too. First, it was as a kid, "Who's Onetta Harris?" And they knew or not. They would say, "She's a great African-American woman from the community who did great things." My kids now, my sons, they're great grandsons. We'll tell them, but her legacy will be stronger and stronger if we can show them by a plaque, by a statue, anything. Let's not make it smaller. Let's magnify it. Let's magnify it. This is great. This should be told. You know, the barbershop I have is located on New Bridge, and every day the bus goes by. It says Onetta Harris Community Center. So people in the shop ask, "Who is that?" And lately, as of late, it's become even more of a topic to discuss because of what's going on. So I let them know who it is, but only because they don't see it at the center no more. Let's give them that back. All the kids, whether you white, black, Hispanic, Indian, they're gonna ask by seeing that name up there, "Who's Onetta Harris?" That's how it lives on. Your life story is your legacy that you leave to your heirs, to your community, to your friends and your family. Taking that away, it won't kill a life story because it's great. It's great. It's a great story. But it also, you're taking away opportunities for the kids to learn more about their legacy in this community, their heritage. Let's not do that, y'all. It's not good. Not good. And it's worthy of a Netflix special if y'all do. It's worthy of a Hulu special if y'all do. Stolen Legacy, be entitled. Let's not do that. You know, let's keep it in the community. Because our kids, my kids, her great grandkids deserve to know who she is. Deserve it. You know, the funny thing is, not funny thing, the unfortunate thing is that she fought hard for our community. Now our community is fighting for her. Now we fight for her. Come on, man. Make it right. Make it right. Thank you.
Frederick Harris.
Hi, I'm Frederick Harris, Bob, you guys know. I just wanted to tell you a little stuff about my mom. I want to tell you stuff about my mom. But my mom, she attended Paul Quinn College and Perry View A&M. She was a founding member of one of the founding members of the Bellhaven Advisory Board in the neighborhood, housing committee. She worked with the YEP, program that Troy talked about. They got summer jobs. She worked with Counterpart, and Counterpart provided summer jobs. Matter of fact, Counterpart is the one that built the building in, East Palo Alto that the city hall is in. Okay, and, I guess East Palo Alto didn't, acquire it, and, they're paying the county of San Mateo because they weren't a city at the time. The county took it over and they never gave it back to them. You got jobs at Slack, you got jobs at Stanford, you got jobs at Raytheon, and you have people say there's no legacy, there's nothing in this community. My mother, I was there the whole time, more than any of my sisters and brothers. I was right there. And she was on those committees and stuff. And when she went to DC and came back, she found she had cancer. She was on a seminar, a retreat for the city of Menlo Park. And she came back and she had cancer. And my mother helped numerous kids out and people out in East Palo Alto and Menlo Park. She provided food during holidays, Christmas trees, presents. And let's see, there's so much stuff that I written down. And, you know, she was close friends with Congressman Alan Clancy, Tom Lano, Pete McCloskey, Ron Dallin, you know, and then with Mr. Brooks, Nat Brooks, when they were gonna move him from Wood, to Minneapolis, from Minneapolis to the Woodside, he came to me and said, hey, tell your mom to see if she can stop them from changing my job from MA to Woodside. And, you know, she worked with people like Ida Bird, Eleanor Curry, Barbara Moulton, Gertrude Will, Satilla Cabot, many of people. And I remember when I was an undergrad at UCLA, there was a guy named Dr. Wendell Jones. And Dr. Jones was one of the leading historians in the United States. And he wrote, he had did his family tree on Roots before about Roots came out, but he had did his family tree before Roots was even made a movie. And so I met him, I became a friend of his, and he said, hey, I was checking somebody in Palo Alto area, and this guy named Dr. He was a professor at Stanford. He said that your parents are very dynamic. And then Professor Kennedy, he taught at Nairobi College, he taught at Stanford University. And I used to wear a Nairobi College t-shirt, so he saw me and he came up and he asked me who I was, and then he checked with his friends from Stanford and stuff, and they found out, he told me, he knew my father, but he didn't know my mother. But anyway, but he found out that who my mother was and what she was doing in the community. And then someone had the audacity to lie and say that there was nobody supported my name. And it was a mistake that was made 40 years ago. There was overwhelming support from my mother. Overwhelming. Right. Overwhelming. Yeah. And then the person did it. My brother was at a seminar and she came up and she introduced herself to my brother. My brother goes, yeah, you live across the street from my mother. Oh no, I live in Africa. That's what this person said. Yeah. And so anyway, also, you know, like she had support of and Billy Ray White did not twist anybody's arm or anything like that to get him to support the changing of the name. He's not that type of person. And she had the support of Dick Austin, who used to be a director there, Ralph Emerson, Aaron Johnson, just numerous people in the community, Mr. Paul Barber. So then someone made a comment, they were at the city hall, I saw it on YouTube, and they said that their father was some writer for Ebony and Jet magazine, and he said, he pretty much implied that you have to do something of some national, there's like this national standard for having something dedicated to you. Okay, but the person talked about how his father was, but his father was such a great writer. He never mentioned how many Pulitzer Prize awards his father got. And then he sat up there and he talked about the Million Man March. He talked about the March on DC, And he said that A. Randolph Phillips, he was the one that really initiated that, and it wasn't, it was Malcolm X. And what happened was John Kennedy, he summoned all those black leaders into Washington DC to see what was happening. And nobody knew anything about it. But what they did, Kennedy imposed all those black leaders, told Martin Luther King that when they could come in, when they could leave. And but see, if Malcolm had been here, he couldn't have done that. And that's where the Millionaire March comes from, Louis Farrakhan. And it's just amazing how, every time, black people do something, they have did something, then somebody wants to change themselves, they have certain people who come out, black people who come out and do their bidding, and then, and it's a shame. It's really a shame. This person who was saying all that stuff, I remember growing up, she lived next door to my mother's friend, and her friend, Robert Young, he used to just talk about how the nuts she was. And he said that his wife got her a job at Macy's. And when he got her a job at Macy's, later on she became a real estate agent. Then all of a sudden, she wanted to, I just want to say, it's a shame what you said about my mother had no support. It's a shame. And
One second. I know we could have done a better job with the AV, so I apologize for that. We do have, I think, over 50 folks online as well. So if we could have folks stand closer to the microphone, perhaps this side, will this help everyone? They're a little closer or?
So the microphone and the camera are this little gray object here. And so the best thing for everyone who's also tuning in online, which is why we have this podium here, would be to kind of address the commission here and this camera so that everyone can hear you in that regard. So just a tip for folks wanting to speak whichever direction you like, but we did get that request that folks face the camera if possible.
Adrian Perkins.
Good afternoon. My name is Adrian Perkins. I live at 1245 Hollyburn. My parents purchased that house in 1956. I've been there the whole time, off and on. I'm there now. When you say the subject about Mrs. Harris, I attended Belhaven School. And the thing about Mrs. Harris, if you were somewhere where you're not supposed to be, she would call you by name, not son, student, or whatever. She knew every student by name. It was more like your parents were there at your school with you, because you couldn't jive her, you couldn't shake her, or nothing like that. But the most powerfulest thing at that school was when, after we did our dedication to the flag, we used to sing James Brown, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Mr. Heyman, Dr. Heyman and Mrs. Harris brought the black element back into the community by wearing dashikis, African objects around their necks, and making you feel proud to be black. And one of the roughest things, well, I was scared as hell, back when the Zodiac Killer was around. You guys laugh, you're laughing now, but they were threatening black kids on school buses. And so they threatened Belhaven School. What Mr. Heyman and Mrs. Harris did, they had the Black Panthers come on the campus. They marched on the campus. All I can remember was Free Huey, the black tabs, and the leather coats. And the Zodiac Killer didn't show up. This is the truth. What I want to say now, I've been here and I've seen the change come over. I was here when my parents first bought their house. Don't take this wrong, but the white people moved out in the nighttime to get out of here, because that's all that was over here at that time, 1956. So now it's changing back over because there's money put back into community
They like the area, the temperature of the area, because you know it's always cool here, but it's hot other places. You guys want to build a marina out here. I know what the plan is. You want to put a marina out here. That's not for us. We don't own boats. So I'm telling you now, for you to remove her name as a foothold, as something that I can tell my grandkids about, is wrong. Thank you.
Vanessa Carlisle.
I'll make this as fast as possible, but I worked for the city for 37 years. And when I was there, it was called Belhaven Community Center, but then my husband, I think was Freddie, and somebody else had the name changed to Onetta Harris Community Center. I'm a basketball coach, and we have been all over the world. Onetta Harris's name is all over the world. When we come to a facility or we go to a state, they know us. You really don't want to remove that. And just like somebody said earlier, you know, you guys sit here kind of unknown, unbeknown to what's happening. Onetta lived across the street from me. My sister, Felicia, all of them, we know all of them. Miss Green, everybody who spoke came to the facility every day. I knew those people every day. You guys remember when East Palo Alto, Menlo Park was the #1 murder capital of the world?
Yeah.
Onetta Harris Community Center was the sanctuary. That's when anybody from whatever name, gang, whatever came, and they knew it was neutral. You couldn't do anything there. I don't know what's gonna happen. I know you guys got this campus thing going, but you know, like I said, the names within between, but somewhere, some kind of way, Onetta cannot go away. Just like they said, it comes down to pride. You know, and like you said, you sit here and you say, okay, you don't even know us. Everybody out there, I know. You know, but one Marie, I remember when Marie used to work in the facility when it was an old building. You know, we have come so far. I was there in the beginning when it was nothing and nobody was there. And like you said, and now, like you said, you know, Curtis Hagens, he part of Durrell Barber that lived on Terminal, everybody was there. He told me this in a text, and I'm gonna leave it at that, because I have a story for everything. James' kids were there, but he said Mark Zuckerberg went out for the community, but then he went for the heart when he went out to Onetta Harris Community Center. You have got to leave the heart alone. That's what makes this place beat. And like I said, we all went to Belhaven. I did too, so thank you, thank you.
Jackie Sebrian.
All right, hi, everybody. Thank you. I'm Jackie Sebrian. I'm gonna try to talk loud for everybody. I'm a former library commissioner. I'm a current Complete Streets commissioner. So first, as a fellow commissioner, I have to say thank you all for the time that you volunteer for our community. Like, it's everything. So I wrote stuff down because otherwise I'll forget. The new building is super beautiful. I really appreciate Facebook's decision to give back to Belhaven in this way. When I moved here in 2007, Sun was the name of the company campus nearby, and Onetta Harris was the name on the community center. When Sun left, Facebook just turned the sign around and slapped a banner over the outside of it. And now it's not Facebook anymore, it's Meta. But Belhaven is still Belhaven, and Belhaven deserves to have its history represented on the buildings. I think that you've heard tonight of the lasting changes that were left here by Onetta Harris. I have only been here since 2007, so I'm learning much of it tonight, just like you. And that is why when Facebook first proposed this building, there was outrage from the community at the idea that they might rename it. And Facebook gave assurances in the face of that outrage that they had zero interest in having their name on the building. So I encourage us to take them at their word. I think we should name the campus after the neighborhood that will outlast the companies on our periphery. I think the honors of the program naming should go to the change makers of Belhaven, like Onetta Harris, not transient billionaires.
Nancy Edelson.
I've lived in East Palo Alto, since 1986, and when I came to East Palo Alto, it was, to me, the same as Menlo Park, a rich culture, a lot of culture. And there was a whole generation of people, Mrs. Harris's generation, that were so involved. I was on the board, Public Works and Commission, in East Palo Alto for almost 15 years, and I used to go to city council meetings all the time, and all these, a lot of women, a lot of older people would, they supported the city. I mean, they were so involved in trying to determine the right way to go. And the culture was just amazing. When technology came and Facebook moved in, it changed everything changed. As we all know, everything is changing. And humans need to keep something the same. And particularly their culture. Culture is family, culture is everything, culture is history. And I'm the same way. I don't understand why it's even being talked about to change the name. I mean, why would you change the name? For what? I mean, you don't have to say what she did. You know, it's known what she did. She had a tremendous impact. So I encourage us to keep the name and continue to give honor to her and all the people that made this what it is, and to try to, the people that are trying to keep it what it is, keep the history and keep the culture so that people can be healthier.
I have Terry Harris and Ken Harris, but I understand Ken will be speaking for both of them.
Good evening. My name is Kenneth Harris, and I'm here with my grandson, Caden. He's a fifth grader at Beechwood School, and he's doing quite well as a student. He's an overall good guy, and it was his idea to come up here and hear this presentation about his grandmother, Onetta Harris. You see, when we came to the area, our family, we had a need of service to service the community, to help people, to give back. You know, you talk about social contributions and you talk about economic contributions. Which one is more important? Social or economic? Oh, economic is definitely important, but social is just as important. And this is where Onetta Harris comes into play. Her whole thing was about helping people. All the commissions, from the Bellhaven Advisory Committee to the Drew, to the Bay Havens Women's Club, to just her educational experience. I taught at Bellhaven when I finished college. And it was just wonderful working here. I'm a real estate broker in the area, and it's been just a blessing. And I was really sad when my mother obviously passed, and at Park, I would see her name. But then I realized that it was her spirit. It was countless people telling me about how she contributed to their life, how she helped them. To this day, I got people coming up telling me that, you know, my mother used to say, well, I don't hardly have enough to feed myself, but I'll feed you guys. People didn't have a place to live. She said, well, you come live with me, and she would let them live with her. This is all about history. This is all about legacy. And why would one consider, when you have naming criteria that are clearly stated about why a facility should be named after a person? And she meets those criteria. She meets them. So what's the point? So why would you just give it a generic name with no diversity, with no flavor, with no association, no culture, no history? Are we that limited, that parochial in our thinking, where we can't consider each other
And you have a big responsibility as elected officials serving on this committee. And one of your responsibilities, without me telling you, is your responsibility to deal in good faith and to work with the public. And to help those people who are less fortunate, who need help. And this is exactly what Onetta Harris, many other women, particularly Black women in the community, the contributions that they made. Where there was no way, they made a way. They made a way, they paved the way. So why not consider her? Why not? Why would you shelve her? Why are we even here talking about this? I mean, her spirit is such that she overly gave to the community. Overly, and this is representative of what's happening. I know you got your surveys and you got that you gotta take and you gotta come to a conclusion on said surveys. But wow, this should be kind of easy as far as she's concerned. And I know she was the kind of person that was just a giver. She just gave of herself. I saw her at night when she came home and she was spent. She died at 57 because she just gave her life, body, and soul to this community. And that spirit still is. That spirit's not going to go away. So I ask you to please do the right thing by her. Let her spirit live. And let the good spirit that she embodied and she represented live on. I thank you. Oh, my grandson here. Wonderful. Wonderful for your information. And he's going to do very well. You'll be hearing about him one day. I guarantee.
So we're seeing none.
You know, like I like to start off saying, you're my neighborhood. Point blank. You know, and I you know, that class over there I went to in 1956 in that kindergarten. And the reality of it is that fact that you're killing a name and you're actually stealing something, but you don't know you're stealing shit. You know, and by the way, I got a potty mouth. You know, so like, what I need to say is that you're like, probably in April, I'm releasing my first book. The last part of my first book is talking about this right here. How do you steal a culture? You know, how do, you know, somebody named Zuckerberg can come in and y'all say that you could contribute something? Every one of us been paying taxes down here for decades. You know, everybody down here should have somebody's mama on the wall. You know, like, I don't think you contribute more money than all of us collectively.
Right.
He didn't do that. You know, so like where you said the sun system sit. When we was hungry, we used to hunt rabbits over there. We used to pick wild greens over there. You know, and it ain't because just the Zodiac killers. You remember when all the white people fled? You remember when we used to get together and our parents used to get together and walk us to school? Because they were scared of y'all. That's point blank. You know, and by the way, the last 6 years that before y'all tore down that building, every second Saturday of December, I stood in the middle of the park and gave away 200 bikes.
Yeah.
Until y'all tore down the building. So we was using that park. And when East Palo Alto was named the murder capital of the United States, I was on the founding board of Free at Last. And instead of having it a criminal justice problem, I started making it a medical problem. So at a certain point, I think to even have this conversation in the middle of the neighborhood, man, God did something for me that I didn't do for myself. He made me old, because I'd be fighting right now.
I just have a first name, Francis.
Oh, thank you. First of all, somebody tell Mark Zuckerberg, thank you for this facility. But I don't think Mark Zuckerberg give a damn about what's going on right now. You got too much money, it's too big, and all you guys are just scapegoats. So I think you guys are gonna do what you wanna do, and how you gonna do it just to tell them, hey, we just did it this way. But Onetta Harris deserves to remain the name that it is just because who she was. Would you want somebody to change your name and your name if it was your legacy? No. So somebody tell Mark Zuckerberg, thank you for being our great white hope, because he did a lot of things, but he don't give a damn about this center. He should have been here somewhere looking at us and say, hey, how y'all doing? How we gonna do this? But don't let it be a scapegoat. Go, we just gonna sit up here and we're gonna listen to you guys, and we're just gonna listen to you guys and go, okay, but your mind is already made up. Your mind is already made up. We don't need no more great white hopes. I got a savior. I got a savior of the world. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. It is. You want to change her name and what she done gave before any of y'all probably was born, whatever y'all did, don't give a damn. Go back and say, hey, we was there. We was there. We was there. We here. Wait a minute, that lady who said that she wasn't nothing, that said Onetta Harris wasn't nothing, whatever she did nothing, how much did they pay you?
Margarita Harris.
Onetta Harris Center. This name holds historical significance and embodies the essence of this community. Keeping the name is not about resisting change. It's about honoring our past and preserving our collective memory. It's about recognizing the value of our shared history, acknowledging sacrifices made by those who came before us. I think instead of changing the name, we should embrace its potential and build upon its legacy. I work for the state of California, and I was really surprised how many people aware of this situation with the name change. And like somebody earlier mentioned that it's bigger than this. A lot of people are aware, a lot of people who moved from this area to other areas, they know about this situation right now. And I haven't heard a single person supporting this. And not even mentioning that, it's my grandmother-in-law. I'd never mentioned it in our meetings, but everyone is really against the name change. So I really hope that money is not a deciding factor in this decision. I really hope that community's opinion is. And I really think that if you read all the comments that have been submitted online, you'll see just how big it is. And community does not want the change. Community wants to preserve the history and feel like they are part of this wonderful name, and just appreciate significance that Onetta was in this community. So this is it. Thank you so much. And I really hope that the right decision will be made. Thank you.
Harry Finn.
Good evening. My name is Harry Bims, former two-term. My name is Harry Bims, former two-term Menlo Park Planning Commissioner, former board member of the Menlo Park Chamber of Commerce, and I've been a resident of Belhaven for more than 20 years. When my wife and I moved to Belhaven, a chemical plant owned by Tyco Electronics Corporation was operating at the current Facebook site, less than a mile from Belhaven Elementary, and it was leaking toxic chemicals into the soil and groundwater. Prior to Tyco, Raychem was doing the same. Many African Americans have moved out of Belhaven since we moved here, but we stayed. I just don't see how a name on a building will change whether we matter as a neighborhood. Further, for the Annetta Harris name to not change, we should be talking about the community center component of the new campus, not the other components that never carried her name. To this day, Belhaven Elementary is rated #1, the lowest level possible when it comes to academic test scores. We have far more serious issues to spend our time and energy working on if our kids are going to have a level playing field. When I grew up on the south side of Chicago, there were many people who did the kinds of things that Annetta Harris did, but none got their name on a public building. We named buildings after Martin Luther King, who was shot when I was 5 years old. Muhammad Ali, whose heavyweight fights I watched live on TV. If King and Ali were sitting in this room today, they would likely have a shirt on that says, "I ain't hard to find." Important stories about the history of many African Americans and Hispanic Americans who rose to national and international prominence were routinely preserved in Ebony and Jet magazines during the 1960s and 70s. For example, Deacons for Defense, an article that later became a movie starring Forrest Whitaker. Roberto Clemente, first Puerto Rican baseball player in the major leagues. Charles Drew, who pioneered blood preservation techniques that led to the creation of the Red Cross. These are just a sampling of articles in Ebony and Jet that were actually written by my dad, who worked there as an associate editor during the 60s and 70s. And you can find that in the National Museum of African American History in DC, if you like. Notably absent from Ebony and Jet is any mention of Annetta Harris in any of the publications. One thing I did find on the internet is that the city of East Palo Alto, in the city of East Palo Alto, the Charles Drew Health Clinic was created to provide medical and dental services to the residents. According to the newspaper, by the year 2000, the clinic was shut down after it lost a federal grant. A year later, on December 1st, 2001, the Ravenswood Family Health Center was created, eventually becoming part of the Ravenswood Family Health Network. Through their efforts, a brand new $39 million building was opened in East Palo Alto on May 5th, 2015 to replace and expand health services originally provided by the Drew Health Clinic. Note that the name Charles Drew was not carried over to this new building. Neither was the name of Annetta Harris put on the building either. In conclusion, my recommendation is that, any person's name is to be proposed for this building. It should be a person whose national or international reputation is enough for to say they ain't hard to find. Each of us should be able to do our own research on the internet and find articles documenting their work from sources around the country. We should not be told to simply take someone's word for it. Or there should be at least some financial contribution to the project by advocates for their name, as we've seen happen in the past. Given that 5 buildings are being consolidated into one building, I suggest that the overall name not be a single person's name. However, individual program areas could have personal names to preserve Black history, such as the community center component, but not the whole thing. But for these decisions, I think preference should be given to the voices of the residents of Belhaven, those who made this project happen through the planning and its construction, and others who actually live in Menlo Park. And if you want to fact check, the receipts for these points that I've made in these comments can be found in an email that I submitted to the commission. Thank you for your attention.
Jerry Bledsoe.
This microphone, then we can hear everybody. Right here. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jerry Bledsoe. I've been a resident here since, 1958, when I was 2 years old. I went to school at this place, Belhaven. went to Willow School. Played, back in the day, it was called Kelly Park. Okay, and there used to be a house. It was a house in the middle of the grass. And that's where everybody in the community, we had outdoor basketball courts, we had tennis court, we had a baseball field, had a softball field in the back. And then over the few years ago, I had moved away for a minute and came back. Then you guys made a unilateral decision and you got rid of the baseball field. Got rid of the tennis courts because you figure we had new people that moved in. But we still play tennis. We still do all those other things. Somebody made a unilateral decision, like we don't do those things. Okay, we're just as diverse as everybody else. Now, Miss Harris and her family, I've known their whole family. I worked at Kelly Park when it was called Kelly Park. I think in 1971, I was a freshman. I worked there from when they went from that little house to what's still called Kelly Park then. And then I think in 73, 74, somewhere up in there. Then I don't know exactly the time, but I know they changed it to Onetta Harris Center. And I didn't care one way or the other in that respect, but I knew their family and I know they were very influential in the community. Their father was an attorney and a realtor and a businessman. And Miss Harris, she worked at the school with my mom. And I know she worked in Counterpart. I worked in Counterpart. That's how I learned how to paint when I was a kid. We used to go around, there was a committee they had here for summer jobs. The senior people, we would clean their yards, cut their grass and all that and paint their houses because they were low income. Okay, so those are and she was influential in that program. And the program Fred talked about, they were tutoring kids. And my little brother, they were in those groups. So in summer school, they had summer school and they gave all these college students jobs to tutor our kids. Okay, so there's a lot. And when last meeting I was here, a lady was here, a Hispanic lady. She'd been here maybe 25 years. She's talking about, well, we don't want to get rid of our culture. I said, what culture? You weren't even here when we were here. When my family came here, we would like Blue said, the Caucasians moved out, like Mr. Clark, when he was 100 years old. When he moved on Hollyburn, he was out in the military. He came here and he worked it and during the day. They moved in on a Friday night. When he came out the house that morning, there were 20 people across the street, 20 white folks with their hands crossed, all watching. And he said, hey, I'm your new neighbor. I'm not going anywhere. You guys want to help me? You come help me move in. As if not, you guys have a good day. So when him and his son moved in, Butch, when they got the house, everything set, when he went to work and came back that day, 15 houses had for sale signs on it. So it was evaporation of people leaving just like that. Okay, but there were a lot of Caucasians who still stayed here. And that was a good thing because they said some of them got tricked back in the day. They were told when the Black people come in, you're going to be mingling with their daughters, they're going to rape and all that stuff. So they got out of here. There's one of my friends on Mitchell's, they live on Windermere. His mother was 95 years old. A lady came back to visit and she says, that's what the realtor told her. And he said, and he's going to help her buy a house. To this day, she don't have a house. He lived in an apartment. She drank the Kool-Aid. And so all the white people moved out. And so then the brothers moved in because in San Francisco back then, they couldn't buy. So they heard down the peninsula, Menlo Park and East Palo Alto were selling homes to the Blacks because they got out of the military. They used their GI Bill. But let me back up on that. My thing is, I don't think Mrs. Harris' name should be obliterated from the building. I think her name should be attached in some way. I understand the political ramification of this billionaire building this project, and I appreciate it. I like the old building. This is better. But I looked up on the phone here when I got here. I knew Mr. Arriaga, the billionaire. They didn't change it. When you look up Burgess Park, it don't say Arriaga Park. It says Burgess Park. Okay, now that money he gave, they told me because he gave X amount of dollars that his name had to go on those buildings. Now I worked at Burgess too. I worked for Dick Austin. I was an employee of the city for 5 years till I went into banking. So I understand what's going on here, but you just can't abolish our history. And she's part of our history. There's some people who liked her and didn't like her, liked her family, didn't like their family. That's immaterial. She was part of this, the history of this community. And I think that there should be some way where her name is still, or their family name is still applied in some way. And then I understand with what you guys call it, the center and all that, the way you guys set it up, I know there's smart enough people in there where it can say, whatever building's gonna be here or this section or whatever, somewhere her name should be there along with the other participants that made this facility come to fruition. Oh, yeah, well, it's taxpayer. Well, see, the other taxpayers over there on the other side, they don't care. You talked about the schools at Oak Knoll and all that. What they did was, and I'm really surprised, this is a different subject. Over there, we used to play all those guys in junior high school. Now, they redid all of their schools. They're two-story buildings now. They look like little colleges. What did they get over here? What they just did our school? They got a little project. They gave a cubicle. That's what we got. And so I look in it, and my mom's 87 years old. She lives at 230 Hamilton. Okay, so I know what's going on financially and politically. We're not stupid. We can see what's going on. And you guys need to recognize that fact. You know, we're taxpayers. We've been taxpayers. My aunt's 94 years old, lived at 623 Ivy Drive. We do count, and our voice is important. That's all I gotta say.
I can go home now, homeboy. Anyway.
Craig Goodwin.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to the core of this problem. To begin with,
Talk loud, Greg.
okay, to begin with. I was one of the first Black firefighters in Menlo Park. I worked in probation before that, subsequently went to federal law enforcement. There was a person that made a lot of comments that were bad. She's elderly and I have to give her respect. But I wish she had the decency to tell the truth, but she didn't. When Mother Harris converted or changed, there were children, the young people going into crime and on their way to the penitentiary, to be honest. And she changed their direction to education and employment. And subsequently, we have a lot of doctors, lawyers, scientists, teachers, professors, firefighters, police. All of those people materialized from the efforts of Mother Harris. And he and her son, Edmund, when I was retired from federal law enforcement, in her commemoration, we would do college fairs. She fed homeless, hungry people at the time, people less fortunate, etc. Okay, to the core of the problem, there was unanimous vote that the name of Onetta Harris would not be changed. This was pronounced more than twice. Okay. For the city of Menlo Park to move that name, it's a betrayal to public trust. After you going back on your word like that, that's a betrayal to public trust. It's inconsistent with the characteristics and profile of a governing bureaucracy that's interested in fairness and excellence. If you remove that name, if you basically you are erasing our culture, our history, and Mother Harris's legacy. Not to mention that it looks like the city's posturing and suggesting that our tax base, the tax base of this neighborhood is meaningless. That's, nobody can appreciate that. You wouldn't want to have your value undervalued. Nobody would. It also appears that the city is fostering an attitude of supremacy. Let's just be real about this. If you remove this, it's going to express, and it would be representative of, I don't even want to say the word. It's that bad. It's that bad. And I don't want to accuse. It's just basically ruthless racism. That's what it boils down to. And you don't want to use that term because of people you love and you want to respect and honor and that kind of thing. But you have to look at this picture. You have to see this picture for what it really is. You have to see the substance of this. And I'm not here to be disrespectful or dishonor this board. I know is a decision that has to be made, but we're asking that you guys do this in the right way, because everybody knows the only time Black people have ever been able to progress is through civil unrest. And we want to see some accountability. Nobody wants to have to fight all the time to get equal rights or whatever. It's every time we are asking for any type of equal consideration, there's some unnecessary deliberation that has to go on. Thank you.
Gail Wilkerson Dixon.
We'll start off, biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy. This is what O'Meara Harris is to our community. We come from the South, we took care of one another. When my grandmother died, 200 people showed up at her funeral, and they all came to me and said, if it wasn't for Miss Pickles, I wouldn't have ate. She fed me biscuits and gravy, and I was like a turkey dinner. That's what O'Meara Harris did. The majority of us coming from the South did that. We took care of one another. She was born in Rosebud, so was my husband. I'm her great niece-in-law. My husband loved her. They had a dashiki and hair contest. Every time they would miss, my hair is longer than yours. And I had to make him dashikis because that's what she represented to him, her, and he loved her. She was strong, and she was, I don't know if you know, she was half German. If you notice that all of the Harrises, they're big people. And she was a force to be reckoned with. I gotta take these things off. I just got those, can't see. Okay, I went to Belhaven too, 1955 to 1961. And then I went to Greenhouse and then Milo African. That was another story. But when growing up, I had to cross over the 101 freeway to get to Burgess Park, hoping that they would let me in. A lot of times they would turn us away. O'Meara Harris got us a community center where we could use it. And not only me and my generation, my son got a scholarship playing basketball because he went over here and played. Now, she has two great nephews, Macon Dixon and Darmon Dixon. Chef Matt, known to everybody else, they know him more than they know me. And they use the center over there. And we have a lot of blood, sweat, and tears here. And I grew up on 1351 Henderson Avenue in Menlo Park. Right here. I'm so turn the corner, come right here. I can show you every class I was in during that time that I went. they tried to change the name of Bellhaven once. I was on the committee of the school district and they wanted to change it to Jose something. And we killed that. Okay, what else? You know, if you don't. What I really believe, she lived on Terminal. That whole street should be named Onetta Harris, running right into the park. Okay? Yeah, that's how big that woman was to us, and that's how much she means to us. She is our legacy to pass on, especially with her great nephews. They knew her. My husband made sure that they knew her. Her name's Onetta Dixon Harris. My husband's Elvis Dixon. The Dixons are very well known also in the community. So what you be doing is what's been happening a lot. They're forcing the African Americans out of this central location, the heart of the peninsula. They steered us from San Francisco down here. My father was in the military and he paid $3,000 for his house. And we had white flight. The lady next door gave me a flower to give my mother and it had a cross in the middle of it. I didn't know that. And what I was doing, Mom, the lady said, "You give this." And oh girl, she threw it in the trash can. I didn't know what was going on. My mother and father came from the South, but they didn't teach us racism and what they went through.
Right.
I had to learn it. I had to, the little boy across the street, Tony Esserini, I'll never forget him. He called us the N-word, and I broke your window before you moved in. We went through all of that. We have blood, sweat, and tears aside from the taxes that we put in there. When Menlo Park came in and kidnapped us from East Palo Alto, it's because they wanted all that land out there. They went all around and we got gutters. We didn't flood. The water didn't come all the way up to our doorstep. Before that, we had a couple of classmates that got killed, sunk in the quicksand. And I think George Robinson, he was the one that got hit by the train. We have blood, sweat, and tears. Onetta Harris, she was our voice. The African Americans during that time, they didn't know how to talk for themselves. She knew how to articulate. She got, what? I know that. Okay, I'll shut up. I think I said enough, but Onetta Harris is a force to be reckoned.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Alicia Alusa. Did I even get close to how that's supposed to be pronounced? The last name is spelled A-L-U-S-A. No? Okay. Constance French.
Well, I'm Constance, also known as Tiambe. Simple thing, keep the name of Onetta Harris. There's no reason to change it. I keep saying, why, I want somebody else. There's no why, so let's get over that. But I want to do it a little differently. I want to talk about, actually, someone else talked about why. Someone gives you money, you do the little dance, whatever you say. Instead of you saying, no, you said you're going to, that ends it, doesn't end it? We're not going to change the name, so everybody can go home, right? Isn't that right?
That'd be easy.
Because we know the difference between the truth and a lie. They said they're not going to change the name. So why are we here? Okay, why are we here? I'm gonna tell you why. It's gonna be a little bit different. I want to do the division here. Onetta Harris and the people in this room basically represent the descendants of chattel slavery. Okay, so Christopher Columbus in his diary said about the indigenous people, we don't have their names around anyway, do we? Okay, there were people here before, we don't have the name, oh, okay, we have Christina. Any rate, so he said, they will be easier to conquer than we thought. Okay, so we are descendants of chattel slavery, came from another country, a continent that they called Africa. And Zuckerberg and other people are defendants of the slave owners and dominators. And people like to claim it, but beneficiaries of the dominating class. So that means white South Africans came over here and took Black land and Black job position. They were given land, they were given houses. And so throughout the years, other people came and they were given things that we were not given. Okay, so it's the same thing now. So Zuckerberg came and gave you money and said, I'm the dominator, put my name all over it.
Oh, no.
Okay? You don't matter, you people, descendants, you Black people, descendants of chattel slavery, because all of you carry that legacy of 3/5 of a man. Okay, and the lies that they told to reduce us to not human beings. You still carry that. In fact, some of us carry that. I think there's somebody named Dick. That might be a clear example. And the gentleman over here will be a clear example of that. So that's why we're here, because it's clear, it's not that complicated. 5-year-olds will say, we're not going to change the name. So why are we talking about a name change? Okay, we're talking about power and domination through silly little things like, oh, we're going to have meetings and you're going to get to talk and we're going to have a surveys which don't work for elders and a lot of Black people. Those surveys said, we don't do that. And you knew that when you did it that way. Okay, you got to call elder people on the phone and explain to them and talk. That's going to take some time because we like to talk. And we like to hear people talk. So I want to go by. Mrs. Harris represents humanity, okay, and caring. Zuckerberg does not really represent that. He represents hard cash, cold money. And that's the end. And all of us have been taught that. Yes, we have. It's all about the money, ain't a dang thing fun. Okay, so you need to go back to just basic. Do you know the difference between the truth and the lie? That's all. That's all. We need to go straight back to that. Everybody has told you what kind of woman she is. Now, I didn't know her. Okay, and basically my children use the center, and my children use the center because Netta Harris represented our humanity and culture. She had policies and procedures and practices that supported and uplifted us and our kids. You go to other people, they have all kinds of policies. The pool, what is Burgess? $5. You got 3 kids. I have a whole lot of grandkids, only a couple of biological. Okay, so I take them all to get in the car and we all go into the pool. $5 at Burgess, $1 at Netta Harris. Okay, so those policies and procedures allow us to do things. And like the sister said, I don't know her name, but the sister here, the kids went all over. What wonderful things can be done if we're given opportunities and services and don't have these policies that prevent us. So there's a difference, and it's shown in this silly little meeting tonight, because like the sister said before, y'all know what you're gonna do, because if you didn't, we wouldn't even be here, because they already said, we're doing this, we wanna uplift the community. We're gonna give you these beautiful buildings, thank you. And that's all needs to be said. If I wanna help you, sir, I give you something. You don't have to put my name on the back or the door. And I mean, and I'm like that, seriously. You know, people say, thank you, thank you. You don't have to do all that. You said you thank you. In my heart, from my God and from my people, I did. She gave. There's a whole lot of Annetta Harris's. You know, there's a whole lot of Annetta Harris's, ordinary people that you see walking past. You know, that like, you know, the men too. You know, you clutching your purse, but you don't know how generous that man may have been. Thank you. You know, do the right thing.
Cheryl Finn.
Okay. Can everybody hear me behind me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good evening. My name is Cheryl Bims, over 20-year resident of Menlo Park, Bellhaven neighborhood. My husband and I were only supposed to stay here 5 years, but obviously we have issues with keeping track of time. So anyway, but I do want to say, and I want to come at this from a different vantage point. I'm really glad I got to hear the stories tonight, because I think this is the first time I've ever heard so many different vantage points about Onetta Harris. And the thing is, I want to say is, wow, I feel like I heard a book actually tonight. But the other thing I want to say is, in talking to other elders in the community, there are a lot of books in this community. There is so much rich history. So not to detract from her at all. Where's the family? Family, never to detract from her and what she has done. But I want to flip it a little bit. I am one of the people, now I'm kind of like, oh, I'm one of the people who got this whole thing started before anybody on council even knew about this project. I saw, and some other people, Mrs. Bickerstaff and Rachel Bickerstaff, we saw the opportunity to get more resources over here. I could no longer justify looking at billions of dollars of value created here, and we had these little raggedy buildings. I mean, good things happening, so there's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, this community deserves the best it can possibly get. And that is the vantage point from which I came. Now, no offense to anyone, but I'm about to offend every one of you, because I didn't think of asking a single one of you for the money that would be required to make it happen. Even my husband, who I think is incredibly awesome, because I knew it was a huge ask. And I didn't even think of going to my city first, because after all these years of living here, I know the script. I know the decades it takes to get anything done. And there was an opportunity to go where the money was and try to get resources here. So here we are, we find ourselves in this position. But the other thing, oh, I'm turning the wrong way, sorry. The other thing that I wanted to say is that I see an opportunity not only, if you will, to amplify, multiply, and grow what is happening. Because I think at the end of the day, a lot of people may see things as either or, but I'm a person who lives in the both and. I don't always see it as one way or the other, because life, I have learned, is very messy and complicated, and sometimes you gotta find that niche to make it happen. I'm concerned about how we would sustain this type of a building, and because of that, I'm like, how, in terms of how do you give the right recognition, how do you ensure the right dollars continue to come? So in my mind, without all the other history of not only Miss Onetta Harris, but the other people who were here too, throughout the years. And let me say something before we go on. There's history in this room right now. And I think we as a community, as a city and as an area, we're not capturing a lot of it. And we need to do a better job of getting it. Y'all already have a book to write, but I think there's some other books in here that we really need to start capturing. But with that, I was like, in my mind, I was like, how do you capture the people involved? Menlo, it's on Menlo land, City of Menlo Park. We need City of Menlo Park dollars coming to it. Meta wrote the biggest check, end of the day, point blank. You don't build a building without money. I know, and I agree, social issues matter, but there's a convergence that has to happen most of the time for things to truly get done and impact people. And then at the end of the day, community. Because one thing I've been acutely aware of, I came out here in '85 to go to Stanford, but the demographics have clearly changed. So I'm actually like, wow, I don't usually get to see this black, but even before, for me, living here, even before, and most people I know, this area had shifted a lot, and and it's okay, I'm not saying one way or the other, but I think we have to be realistic about where we live. Because when I started looking at it, I'm like, wait, our area is like over 60. Well, I wrote it down because I'm like, I'm not trying to have anybody accuse me of giving you bad info. And this was on citydata.com. It says it's 61% Hispanic, 10% white, 9.7% black, 10.9 Native Hawaiian. I'm sure there's probably a few more
What did you
numbers,
study how that happened?
but let me.
No, let the speaker speak, please.
I'm sorry. So I'm not, it's not about, it has happened. It's a done deal. It's kind of like, how did the baby get here? The baby's here. So at the end of the day, we need to, we really, as a community, I'm hoping we can find some ways. For example, in smaller meetings, I put forth the idea of foundation, because I was like, wow, you really have the traction right now to get a strong foundation going, possibly. These are ideas I'm throwing out, family or anyone else who wants to really further and amplify the legacy. I'm not at all opposed to seeing her name somewhere, but in my mind, I'm like, how do we sustain this realistically in the times that we are in? And I really believe there has to be a balance in terms of what names are showing. And there are a lot of places, that building is big and it's beautiful. There are a lot of places in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, I believe either something like a foundation, scholarship, you name it, certain programming that has ongoing endowed funding, that might be a way to greater amplify some stuff. So I'm just throwing this out. Hey, I don't get to vote on it because the city council, at the end of the day, guess what? Everybody in here, it's the city council that makes the decision. So we all have about as much power in that. But I really hope that we can find some ways to maybe sit down, because I don't believe all the right people have been coming together to try to find a solution that could be a win-win, or at least a half-win or something for everyone. There's too much division right now, and I think we have some better solutions. Thank you.
Rose Bickerstaff?
Yes, this is Rose Bickerstaff. And I can tell you, I am not anybody to be intimidated. I had someone say, don't trash my mother. But all I know to do is to tell the truth. Yeah, I was one that got up before the council. And I said everything that was factual. We have heard so much misinformation and disinformation. So when you tell the truth, sometimes it hurts. But as Cheryl Bim said, at some point, maybe we can find common ground. It isn't always getting your name on the building. There are other things that you can honor your loved ones. I feel the passion that people feel. But everybody don't have the same passion. It doesn't mean you're trashing anyone. You just don't have the same passion. Now, since we have very little time, I'm going to send my letter to the city. But I want to say everything I said was 100% true. I was here. I've been in this community certainly 50 plus years.
I've been here 66.
And it doesn't matter the years I was here, I'm not that old. I was here when all of these things first came about 40 years ago. I was part of that because we had then a homeowners association. Now, just because the community didn't support something, that's not on me. That's history. We keep talking about erasing history. I've heard it being embellished. I've heard it invented. So I know people behind me don't want to hear the truth, but that's the way it is. One thing I don't do is lie. I've seen you lie. I never do that. So I'm not here to argue with you. I want you to be respectful because it's my time to pay money back.
Hey, come on, folks, it's one speaker at a time, please.
So you see,
Please.
this is a good example of not respecting each other. You don't have to agree with me. We all have our opportunities to speak. Well, we can ignore this behind me because it shows you what type of people some people are. So, but there's so much, as Cheryl said, history here that has been twisted and turned around And it has nothing to bash anyone's character. That's all I live by is integrity and character, but I'm not part of a scandal. I haven't tried to steal anything. So, good night.
So at this time, we're gonna start taking online comments and then we have one more in-person comment to come back to at the end. If you're online and you'd like to make a comment, please use the raise hand feature. If you're dialing in, use *9 to engage the raise hand function.
We'll be able to hear them.
Yeah.
We might need to just check the AV as it goes, since we haven't had a problem, so we might ask that speaker to speak a little bit to make sure we're testing the connection properly.
So is it possible to take, since we're transitioning to take like a few minutes and
Yes.
recess?
Yes, take a very quick quick recess, 5 minutes. Thank you, everybody.
5-minute break, everybody.
Question real quick before you take a break. Has the decision already been made?
Okay, we're going to restart the meeting. Welcome back, everybody. We're now going to just move to the online comments. So Ashley, if you could move to the first comment online.
So first we have Portia Gardner. Portia, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Great. My name is Portia McLemore Gardner, and my family owned the home directly across from 100 Terminal. We were at 150 Terminal. I grew up there. I knew and adored Mrs. Harris, and grew up with the whole family. Mrs. Harris there's one thing that no one has mentioned, and that she was. For me, she was the first person that I recognized as a quote unquote social worker. I had no idea what that was growing up, and most people in our community didn't, because, well, they pretty much didn't exist then. In the 50s, in the 60s, 70s. I think they started to come about in the 70s. But it's because of her that I'm a social worker today. Everything that she was is everything that I aspire to emulate. I just want to say that taking her name off of 100 Terminal would be a travesty for the community. There's always going to be naysayers and people that don't understand, probably because they are people that don't understand community and how to give back and how to connect with the community, and how to look out for each other and how to encourage each other. Those are important components in a community. Our community was strong then, and it's up to us to help it continue to be strong, and to never forget where we come from, what the struggle was, and how we overcame the struggle. I just want to say, I want to keep it in respect of the 2 minutes. I want to just say that I'm asking that you really think hard about what you're about to do, the decisions that you're making. And I really am hopeful that Mrs. Harris's name will remain on the building at 100 Terminal. It means a lot, not only to me, but to the entire community that were a part of the blood, sweat, and tears of the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. My name is Reverend Graylin Lee Young, Senior Pastor of the Stewart Chapel Church in Redwood City. I concur with Sister Portia, but also with the Harris family. I'm the historian of the East Palo Alto chapter of the National Council of Negro Women. And I'd like to share with you that Sister Onetta Harris was a faithful and dedicated member of the Macedonia Baptist Church in Menlo Park, right up the street, 11th Avenue, where many of us grew up and came out of. And in the spirit of her former pastor, the Reverend Henry Milton, we have observed and had the opportunity to survey the Belhaven community as well as the East Palo Alto community. These are the pastors and churches in the area. And there is no one who would like Sister Onetta Harris' name to be removed. So I don't know who spoke earlier, but I just have to tell you the truth. She was a dedicated and faithful member of the church. Now, I don't know everything, but I don't know what church in Menlo that Zuckerberg attends, or even in East Palo Alto. And even if he does, she has been so effective and faithful in the work in the community that she's been doing. It's worthy, just worthy to leave her name there. And if you are looking for more names to add with her, we probably add Brother Billy Ray White. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Joyce, if you could just state your last name. Joyce, if you can hear us, we cannot hear you.
Can you unmute her?
I can't unmute her, but I can ask her to.
Yeah.
But
Joyce, you may be muted. Would you want to check if you can unmute yourself? Still can't hear you.
Joyce, we'll come back to you. James E. Dixon. James, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to just say a few words. Onetta Harris was my aunt, my father's sister. And we came there in 1959. And anyone that knows our families knows the history we have and what Onetta meant to that area. Back in the late 60s, early 70s, when, like some of the people that already spoke said, East Palo Alto and Menlo Park was considered the murder capital of the world. Well, I've seen several murders, some of my relatives, on the streets of East Menlo Park. And we used to call it East Menlo Park, not Belhaven, because of the brother or, relationship with East Palo Alto. But Onetta would be at those murder scenes, helping those families, the mothers, the fathers, the brothers, and the sisters who had just lost someone. She was awesome like that. She was everywhere, doing everything for everyone. I used to spend many a nights in the one-car garage full of bunk beds where all their sons used to sleep when I was a little kid. And I grew up to be an architect, and I've been before the Menlo Park Board before regarding the University Circle project when it replaced the Whiskey Gulch area. And Onetta's husband, Israel, had his real estate office there, and he didn't want that project to come in and disrupt the community. I got up there and got that project looked at differently, and the city went ahead and did it. And I regretted that my whole life because it did kind of destroy part of the community. But Belhaven, the Onetta Harris Community Center was back then a dead end area. And my aunt used to chase the drug dealers and the gangbangers away from anyone who wanted to come there and spend time without worrying about getting shot. It was a horrible time, tough time. And thanks to her, there's many, many, many young people that made it through those times. And I thank my aunt, and I miss her dearly. And if she was here today, I'd give her a big hug and a kiss. And for any of you board members who want to know what she was like, walk up to Ken Harris and talk to him. And you'll see how deep of a soul his mother had, because it's in him and his knowledge and understanding of just about everything. You know, it is about people. That's a good man. And if you listen to him, you'll find out exactly what Onetta Harris was. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comment. Marilyn? Marilyn, if
Hi,
you're
good
there.
evening. Good evening. My name is Marilyn DeRowan, and I grew up there in Menlo Park as well. And I'm hearing all the things that, you know, the murder capital of the world. But my father bought that home, and I lived at 1323 Madera Avenue. And he bought that home when I was 2 years old. And a couple of people have already mentioned this, but the history of Black people coming to Menlo Park was, and I call it an orchestrated community, because a lot of Black men from the South, they came to California for jobs. And my father helped build San Francisco. He worked for Cahill Construction, which built San Francisco. All those cement buildings there, my father and other people too, I'm sure, they built San Francisco. My father, the last building he worked on was that pyramid building. But those Black men had their GI Bills, and the white man knew that they had to sell them homes. So I remember the story. My sister always told us the story that the real estate agents came to Hunters Point, and they put around these flyers and had the Black children there pass out these flyers that they had homes for sale in Menlo Park. And you know, because those Black men, they could have bought homes anywhere, but they brought them to Menlo Park. And as they moved in, and like somebody already said, it was all white. It was all white. We had white neighbors. But as the Black people moved in, they moved out. I just want to say, as a little girl growing up in that community, it was a close-knit community. Now, when we became teenagers and older, yes, it was called the murder capital of the world. But as a little girl, that community was tight-knit. The teachers came to your house. We had milkman delivery to our house. The doctors came to our house. It was a wonderful community. We had races in the street. And everybody knew each other. And if you did something wrong, the other parents knew who you were. They would come to your house and tell your parent. That's how close that community was. And I'm glad I grew up there. That community empowered us as Black children. And we were the first Black children to grow up in that neighborhood. And Mrs. Harris, Freddie and I, the one that spoke earlier, Freddie and I are the same age. And pretty much we stayed from kindergarten, I don't know, until we left Belhaven to go to Green Oaks. Freddie and I and other children, we were in the same classroom. So we all were very close. And actually Freddie, and if you see how Mrs. Harris's children speak, They were all educated. Okay? And Freddie was our Black Student Union president at Menlo Atherton High School. We used to have meetings at Belhaven. We used to have meetings there for our BSU for Menlo Atherton. We used to have meetings at Belhaven. And Freddie was our BSU president. But anyway, Mrs. Harris, you know, for even us being here, somebody mentioned that too, for us to have to come to the city of Menlo Park to advocate for her name to stay somewhere at that center, this is a disgrace. And it really is a slap in the face, especially what's going on around in this country today, trying to erase our history, blotting out our names out of the history books and rewriting our history. And for Menlo Park to do this, it really hurts. Our parents paid taxes in that community. They bought homes there. I don't live in that area anymore. I live in Sacramento County now. But when I go there, I like to go down my street to remember where I grew up. And Mrs. Harris's name will be the only legacy that we have for history of even knowing that Black people lived in that neighborhood. And this is happening all over this country. Black people, when they move out, it's called gentrification. You all know what that means. And when they leave, their history is wiped out. And I don't know who that Black man was that got up there to speak about, you know, only names are named after Martin Luther King. You look up people in San Jose, there's a library named after a lady named Beatrice in San Jose. She's not Martin Luther King, but she made a difference in that community. And she's not the only one. So Mrs. Harris in the little city of Menlo Park, a little Black city, because I call it that, even though the Mexicans have moved in, it's still, to me, it means so much because I grew up in that Black community. It was rich with culture. It was rich with our culture and encouragement. A teen center, Mrs. Harris. We had a teen center on the corner of Hamilton and Willow Road. We had a teen center. Summer jobs, summer camps at Flood Park, free. She was an advocate at the city council meetings for us to have things there as children going up there. I can't believe it. And I don't know I don't know what's going to happen there, but maybe we need to get Al Sharpton and Mr. Crump to come and fight for us here. Maybe we all have to chip in, get some money and get Al Sharpton over here to speak about, for us to tell him about Mrs. Harris and what she did for that little town. And now Menlo Park wants to erase her name. I sure hope that we don't have to get that way. Greg Goodwin spoke earlier about racism. We don't want to say that word, but that's what this is. It reminds me of what that governor in Florida is doing right now. Why do we always have to fight for our history? Why? It's terrible. It's a disgrace. And I'm telling you right now, if I have to find out how to get Al Sharpton and Mr. Crump to come and talk to the city council here, and also to Mark Zuckerberg, to put Menlo Park on the map of being racist and wanting to erase a woman that did so much. And I don't know who that old lady is that spoke earlier about all that negative. I'm gonna say something how one of my supervisors said to me. She said, Marilyn, not everybody works like you. So I don't know who that old lady is, but she evidently is jealous of Mrs. Harris of all the work that she did there. And for her to say she lived there so long and not know what Mrs. Harris meant to that community, she has to be mentally off stable or whatever, because she doesn't know what Mrs. Harris did for that community and her family, her husband and her sons. Anyway, I'm done, but I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna find out how I can do it. If this goes on, because we shouldn't even have to be here. We should not. Our parents paid plenty of taxes there in that community.
Thank you. Appreciate the comment. Want to make sure we can move on to other comments as well. Thank you very much.
Nicole Watt.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Okay, great. My name is Nicole Quat. I am granddaughter of Onetta Harris. My maiden name is Harris. I just like to thank everyone for coming out and speaking, everyone on the panel for being here late night, because I know it's pretty late. I would like to talk about my grandmother's importance on the community center and how her name has been there for over 40 years now, and how much work she did in the community. As you can see, everyone spoke on it tonight, so I guess there's not much I have to say to emphasize that, but I do think that it hurts the community more than it does. It hurts the community more to change the name than it does to keep it. It's kind of like, why would you fix something or change something that isn't broken? She still has a great impact on the roots that lie deep in the community. There were a few community members that made comments about national heroes and how their names go on buildings, but we're talking about a local community center and a local hero who was once applauded by the community, and that was why the community center was dedicated to her. So I just think that it would be unfair to the community to change that. Her roots are still there. As you can see, every person that planted in that seat, those seats tonight, showed that her roots are still there. Everyone who spoke here on the Zoom, they also showed that. There were a couple of points that were brought up about concerns that are greater than the Onetta Harris name on the community center, and they were valid points. There are greater concerns. So I think that we should take the time to address like other things within the community center programs, affordability, to keep them as they were when it was Onetta Harris Community Center, than to make the name such a big deal. We should just keep the name as it is, spend more money on other things that need to be addressed within the new community center, and just keep the respect for the roots that lay deep in Menlo Park and Onetta Harris's name. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for speaking, and I would like to remind everybody that your voice that was heard tonight is very important, but I would like to recommend that everyone who spoke tonight write their emails, submit their input in writing to all of the links provided on the website, drop it in the Dropbox, because we need this documented. We need all of your input and opinions to be sent in for review when the time does come to make a decision, because I mean, there's all of you. There were like 70 people that raised their hand to speak tonight or requested to speak tonight, and there were only 3 opposed opinions. So speak up, write it down, send it in. Let's keep this going. Thank you to everyone. Keep my grandmother's name on the building, or however, keep her name alive in the Menlo Park Community Center so that everyone can remember who she was. Thank you.
Thank you. If you have a phone number that ends in 1069. I don't have a name, I just have a phone number ending in 1069. Can you hear us?
Can we come back to the.
Yeah, let's try Joyce again. Joyce, if you're there, we'd like to give you one more chance to say your comment. We can't hear anything, so. Let's go ahead and move on. We do have one more person who just read the names. Adriana Walker.
Hi, I'm Adriana Walker. Some may know me as Vice Chair of Housing Commission. I am a resident of the Belhaven area, not from Belhaven. I was raised in the Valley, but I come from a woman who, like Onetta Harris, dedicates her life to a community. And I understand the importance of keeping our history going. And I guess my question is what, like the woman before me, what does it hurt to keep a name? I'm sorry, I have a lot going on back here. I have life happening, but what does it hurt to keep a name on a building, especially of one who holds great value whose name still rings and registers with and resonates with residents. And my husband, he's been here all of his life, his family, the Daniels, they've been here all of their lives, and they know of the Onetta Harris. And my husband just mentioned now, you know, it's hard to even look at the building that's going up because you already know the plan behind it. And I say, if we can't keep her name on the building as it stood, if we could retain a portion of it dedicated to her, a plaque and just something that entails what her life consisted of and what it meant to the community and what it still means to the community. To the comment that was made that, you know, it doesn't matter whose name is on the building. Well, I'm from Fresno, and we have a lot of buildings that go up in honor of people who lend themselves to underserved communities. And praise and recognition, a building goes up in honor of them. So it is important. It does mean something. It's something to look at and say, I was there when Onetta did this, and I was there when she did that, and I was there when she stopped violence from happening here and provided us. It means something. So to just write it away as, oh, it doesn't matter, let's honor the one who's writes the check. Well, there that is. And thank you for your time. I thank you all for giving your time to us. And I pray that the right thing is done.
Thank you.
And if your phone number ends in 1069 and you'd like to give a comment, this is your last call. 1069. If your phone number ends in 0494, if you could say your name and then you can address the commission.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay. Hi. This is David Wheaton. I addressed this committee before. Former Belhaven resident. My parents moved there in 52, I believe it was. I'm a former assistant city manager, acting city manager in Menlo Park in the 90s up until 2003 or 4, I believe it is. Responsible for a number of things. One of the things is that library that you're sitting in right now, collaborative between school district, Ravenswood School District, and the city. Affordable housing project, the fire station, the redo of Onetta Harris Center, the senior center, the street frontage, the drainage, and many other things on both the west and east side of town. When I left the city, I was offered a job. Before I left, I was offered a job of permanent city manager, and I refused. I didn't take it, didn't want to, because I had pretty much reached the level where I accomplished, I think, what I wanted to when I was recruited to come there. When I was recruited to come there, one of the things that was the deal breaker for me was that I would be responsible for several things, but the one thing I asked the city manager, Jan Dolan, at the time was, would I have free reign to do some improvements that I thought needed to be done in Belhaven, because I grew up there and I was more intimate with some of the issues. And it wasn't about trying to be like how West Menlo Park is, but to take care of some of the basic things in infrastructure that I knew needed to be done. Someone talked about how, someone growing up had drowned over there. That's a fact. And what many people didn't realize when they were in opposition to trying to get things done in Belhaven is that they didn't have a drainage system. We also had some other infrastructure issues, and infrastructure is important for any community. But I was inspired to come back to Menlo Park, and I was inspired to take the job because Onetta Harris mentored me in a lot of different ways about life and about social justice, as we call it now, about giving back to the community. And that was always my goal, was to come back to the community. And of all the things that I've been able to accomplish in my career, the most important thing was being able to come back to the community and to give. I'm very, very proud to hear some of the speakers tonight, some of the people that I would consider kids because they were a lot younger than me. But people like Vanessa and the Harris kids and the nephews, and it's just inspiring to know how much they're putting into it because of their grandmother, their aunt, how much she put into the community. One of the things that hasn't been said, that during the time when communities were blowing up because of racial divisions or racism or whatever it might be, is that Onetta was very instrumental in keeping the community, in working with the Menlo Park Police Chief and keeping the community calm. Where many communities were burning down, and there was times when the whole general area was considered the murder capital of the world. There was sections of that community or that region or that area that wasn't going through that to that extent. And, we can be proud of that fact. We should be proud of that fact. And you talk about burning down, my aunt and uncle, who also lived in Belhaven in the 50s, they had a cross burned in their front yard. And I vividly remember the parents talking about it. I also remember how redlining affects the community. And we all know when we talked about white flight, the community was redlined and for purpose. Which is ironic because the freeway split the community, in which we would not have been called East Menlo Park. We would have been called, which I felt very strongly about, Menlo Park, because that's what we are, Menlo Park. Someone implied that we needed the Zuckerberg money to build a facility. Well, I take somewhat umbrage to that because the senior center wasn't that old. The gym had been rebuilt, so it wasn't that old. Before I left, we did a citywide ballot measure that I helped put together, and that's about one of the last projects I worked on, was getting the Parks and Rec Commission to facilitate putting that ballot measure on, and it passed. By the time I left, the skate park on the west side of town was one of the things that came out of it. But my understanding is, even though when I left there was close to $40 million in the general fund reserve, that was blown along with not having enough money to fulfill what that ballot measure was supposed to do. But, it's a fairy tale to say that we had no other way of trying to do the things that Mr. Zuckerberg is doing, even though I'm all for the new building and everything that it stands for and the way it looks. But I do take some exception to the staff. I was proud of their presentation until it seems like someone had a chip on their shoulder about what it was named and having taken a picture that the name wasn't on the board or anything like that. But I can tell you that if they had done much more research, they would have realized that even though there wasn't a big sign out there that said the Onetta Harris Community Center, all the people in the community and all the people that recognize that facility, including the Stanford women's basketball team and the Stanford men's team that used to come there under the guidance of Vanessa and other staff members, they would recognize that Onetta Harris was the brand, and everyone knew it that way. And it wasn't necessary for us to have a name such as Muhammad Ali or anybody, any other national kind of person, because we had local heroes. And Onetta Harris was at the top of that list. And I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Then we have one more in-person commentary. Arietta Blackburn.
Due to the time, I'm not going to linger too much longer. The name is Marita Blackburn. I'm a resident of East Palo Alto, but I grew up in Menlo Park. My family moved here in 1955. Now, what I'd like to know, this side is, what do you guys represent? The library or what?
We have a mixture of the library
Okay,
commission.
so how many of you live in Belhaven? Only 3? Okay. Now, the next thing I want to say, I'm gonna give you some homework. And then I'm gonna sit down. If you have not already done so, I would suggest that you go to the archives that's over at Menlo Park and start off about what happened from 1955 and 1990 something. How Belhaven got to be where it is now. You will find out what people was working in this community. You mentioned the Senior Citizen Center, you mentioned the Child Development Center. Check to see who started it. I'm the old one. What I didn't tell you is that I worked for the city of Menlo Park as well. I was fortunate to be able to do that. So I would suggest, do your homework, check to see who did what did this community consist of prior to us coming here. Now, we did not put anybody out. People left because they wanted to. When we opened up that community center, it was for everybody, every nationality that was here. Now, if they chose not to come, that's their business. But it was open to everyone. It was never just for Blacks. And then you had some people from this community who was of our nationality that did not really participate. I'm not going to go into it, but the history repeats itself. Whenever we get together to do something. And it's a shame to still be talking about that now in 2023. It's always some of us that's gonna come along and make a big stir. Now, what needs to be done is the city of Menlo Park the one that wants to change the name? Or is it the people that live in Belhaven now want to change the name? And I think they need to be clarified. Everybody keeps saying City of Menlo Park, City of Menlo Park. I work for City of Menlo Park. City of Menlo Park is not wanting to change anything, I don't think. And the only reason why it came up because there was people in the community that wants to have it changed. So I think we need to be specific in terms of why the name is changed, going to be changed. And like you said, in the beginning, it was asked, were they going to change the name of the building? And they said no.
Now, what I want to know, what else is going to change that they said that they wasn't going to change? So like I say, do your homework, go to the archives, find out who was on the advisory committee, find out who the staff here is what built up Belhaven to what it is now. That was staff of City of Menlo Park. We're the one, along with the city of Belhaven Advisory Committee, built what you see now in Belhaven. And of course, the City of Menlo Park had to approve of it. But we started it. So read it. Now, the next time I'm gonna tell you more. So do your homework, because I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
This time there's no one public comment, so I'll turn it back over to the chair to open for the commission to discuss.
Okay, thank you, everybody, for public comments. And just another reminder, there is opportunity over the next 4 weeks to provide comments in writing and a next public meeting as well. The next few minutes, we're going to be having a commission discussion as well. Obviously, you're welcome to sort of remain for that, but we're going to move to that commission discussion as well in the next few minutes. So I'll open it up for any commission discussion or questions.
I just wanted to clarify that I did speak, I don't know if he's still here, Israel Harris, who handed us this form at the very beginning with the names. And I talked to him during the break, and I don't know if it was made clear enough, but he said to let everyone know that these 3 suggestions he gave us are not just his personal suggestions, but rather it's a combination of the entire community and the people that were here. So I told him I would convey that to the group.
Yeah,
and just to expand on what was just said. What would be really helpful, because I looked at that list and I've lived in town here for 15 years, so I don't have the breadth of history of a lot of the folks that spoke tonight. And I imagine a lot of people maybe in the city council who are ultimately making decisions on this in the end, but it would be very helpful in the additional comments that get made over the next bunch of weeks. I didn't know many, if not all of the other names on this list. And I imagine I'm probably not alone. So it would be really helpful to just know how they came to be recommended and populated. So I think that would be really helpful for not just me, but for a lot of people.
To provide that information, I can email it to Katie, or I have your email.
Maybe if you just email it to the commissions, because I would not be circulating.
Yeah, I
Just a
think,
couple sentences about each person.
Again, I got the information from elders in there.
Yeah, I think it would be because there's something really important that in the process here. Let's not lose sight of, and I think a few people mentioned it, and that is, it's a building, but there's 4, 5, or 6 elements to it, right? And there's an opportunity to acknowledge multiple people in the structure and the building and the rubric, right? So it would be nice to make sure that while there's this window of opportunity, let's make sure that we get a good vetting and understanding as to who's, I think it can only help.
Oh, you'll have that information.
Perfect. I think it'd be helpful if you could actually, so Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but actually submit it through the Menlo Park with a couple of names to make sure it gets to the council as well, as in folks, not just here as well.
Okay.
And if I could, just to clarify, we put on the screen again, just for reference, actually multiple ways to send in comments. Of course, these spoken comments have been captured too, but not only an online form, as mentioned, but there's also, you just drop it off at the library or the rec center. You can mail it through snail mail. Just want to make sure any and all information, send it in through any one of these channels. Thanks.
And will you send a follow-up email stating that, because some people left, if they'd like to, they didn't take a screenshot of that, they might need that, and probably Spanish too.
Absolutely. We'll blast this out again at the meeting.
I have a follow-up question for that.
I too am feeling this disconnect between, I've lived in Menlo Park for 30 years and I've always thought of it as the Onetta Harris Center. And I've never thought of it as the 5 separate programs that were laid out in this memo. So what I'm curious about is, once it's all restarted, which programs were in the Onetta Harris Center, and are they gonna be like all in different places in this new? Or is there one part of the building that's gonna have what the Onetta Harris Center used to have? It just, so I'm trying to make some sense of all the comments that we've got with this document that describes it in this way.
I'd just like to say that Mr. Rondell Howard, he was the coordinator at the former Onetta Harris Community Center, and he's going to be the supervisor of the new facility. He can talk about what used to be at the Onetta Harris Community Center.
So the activities are what was actually inside the actual structure of Onetta Harris was the gymnasium and our fitness center. Now, the youth center was an extension, but it was on the campus as well as the senior center. But now with the new structure, everything is going to be inside of this one structure. So we'll have we'll have all 5 entities within that one structure.
Understand.
That's where, so the new building, that's where we'll be going towards. Does that answer your question?
I'm more interested in what was operated in the one that is not
So
there
the
anymore.
gymnasium
Just the
and
gymnasium
the fitness center.
and the fitness center, but there was also a youth program too,
That
right?
youth program, it was, so the youth center had an additional spot that was not inside the actual Onetta Harris building.
But it was sort of part.
It was
that
part of the
same-
campus.
Okay,
Yeah, it was part of the entire campus. So it was its own entity next to the building. So the pool was Onetta Harris Community Center that housed the gymnasium and the fitness center. Next to that was the pool, the Bellhaven pool. On the other side of the Bellhaven pool was the Bellhaven Youth Center, and behind both of those were the senior center structure.
got it.
Yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up on that? Because I did go to that center several times for community events, but usually I was confused in trying to get to one specific thing. It seems to me, I know I went to several events related to Library Commission and Parks and Rec meetings, and back when, way before Facebook offered the building, and we were doing a lot of exploration of how to build something. It seems to me when I would go into the senior center, I was in a building and there was just like a big door to the senior center, like there's a big door to that room where that library is now, that I would walk into. Was I inside the Onetta Harris Center walking into the senior
No.
center, or was that a separate?
That was a separate entity.
So that was like a big atrium in the senior center,
Yes,
and that was called the Bellhaven Senior Center.
correct.
Menlo Park
Okay.
Seniors.
Menlo Park.
And I honestly, I don't think I ever walked into the youth center, but the youth center would have had a similar type setup where it was a satellite building
Yes.
next to the old Netta Harris Community.
So if you can remember where you will walk to the pool, there was a chain fence to the left. And right there was our youth center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions?
I had a question. I'm relatively new to the community. I moved here about 3 years ago, resident of Bellhaven. A bigger issue than the name, I know that's central here, but there seems to be a massive amount of distrust between the community, or at least the speakers that spoke today, and the government and quote unquote Mr. Zuckerberg. And there needs to be some kind of reconciliation there. I kind of remember Israel's comments as it started. We all need to get along, and I think kind of reinstill a spirit of collaboration here. This community center is beautiful. It's going to serve the community for future generations in many beautiful ways. And we should be appreciative of that. There needs to be some sort of capital infusions to make that happen, whether it be tax dollars, private donations, etc. But we're bickering instead over a sign, a placard, and I know it's much more than that. It's memory, it's history, but there's many other ways to replicate that as well. And I just. It's very difficult that we're, instead of celebrating that this building is being erected, we're instead infighting and. Over an issue like this.
You don't get it.
I please.
Get it.
Well, I get, so I get, so there's a, right, so there's,
Well, not Israel, I do wanna just cut in, okay, because right now we've had the public comment portion. And right now I think is really commission discussion.
oh.
I appreciate that, but I just wanna try to keep it, yeah, but I wanna just sort of keep the. That structure if we can, because otherwise it might devolve and not have a commission discussion. So, okay, I appreciate that, thanks.
I think people keep bringing up this idea of like the funding and the financing and how do you financially support it, but that hasn't actually been brought as an issue to the commissions here, right? Like that's a separate thing and we don't even know if there are any challenges there. So I think the broader question to me on the naming is, why is the dissent so one-sided? Like I haven't heard anything really significant around why must we name it something else? And any other candidates for any other names that have a lot of strong community support. However, I do believe in the process of government and, you know, it's great to collect public comment. It's great to hear everyone. And, you know, from what I've heard, there's a lot of support for this name. And so, you know, I agree with the sentiment of where we are on the naming is we need to run a solid process on the naming, but I really haven't heard any major reasons to date, and I would love if, you know, we had discovered this in the process of public comment to convey why there should be any other name, or if there are any financial reasons not to have the name, or like anything else, because I haven't heard any of that. So
Yeah.
thus far today, so I'd be curious if any of you guys have heard that or agree or disagree with that.
Maybe I can jump in, because this is how I understand it. I could be wrong. I just want to test it a little bit with the staff as well. Is if there are 5 prior facilities, then there are going to be 5 sub facilities going forward. If all we were doing was just porting the names across, then the closest new facility that would be related to the Anetta Harris old facility would be the gym as it's set up now. And that'll be the closest, not perfect analogy, but that'll be the closest analogy. What I think what we're discussing through the public comments is unofficially the overall campus was referred to as the Anetta Harris campus. But that was an unofficial name that was never actually written down. But it has weight. It has a lot of weight with the community, and it should, I think, have some weight. This is just my own personal opinion, not for discussion today, but as we're going through it. Even though it's unofficial, I think it should have some weight going forward. And I think that's what we're discussing and also like batting around here is how does that weight get communicated and passed on and made sure it's reflected? But I think that's how I understand it. That's kind of what we're trying to just bat around. And because we're coming up with our overall name for the new facility, it's not just simple as, well, that's the old name. It was unofficial. Now we need to make it official. And that is an official decision from the council to make. We need to kind of work through that, I think.
So am I hearing that the debate is, sorry to jump in, Sean, but like, am I hearing that the debate is between, do we name the gymnasium as a straight port, or do we name the whole campus as a?
Isn't there a community center name as part of the new campus?
So I can chime in just to kind of go back to what the city council has asked to be done is here, I'll try to share this just for reference one more time. So again, the process that the city council has laid out, obviously the 4-week public comment, et cetera, the bottom bullet points, what we're talking about is for the 2 commissions to consider all the community input and then to recommend those last 2 bullet points. Up to 3 potential names or dedications for the overall facility, that's like everything together. And then up to 3 potential names for each of the 5 components. Right, so I think the commentary right now is that each of the 5 major components kind of had sort of previous or current names attached to them was sort of at least a starting point to a conversation there. And for the overall facility, there is sort of this unofficial, kind of colloquial, often just refer to it as the Onetta Harris Community Center. Although there never really was an official name for that. And I think there's this forcing function now that, first of all those former facilities, the physical structures are gone. And there's a new structure that's been built per the city's naming policy. There's a process to attach a name to that. And then there's this element now that these 5 things are now under one roof. And so it's sort of a forcing function to say, well, we need kind of some umbrella name, and we need to make that official. And that's the discussion, and that's what the city council has asked the commission to help with community input, of course.
Can I have one point of clarification? There were several people who made the point that the name of this facility is either Onetta Harris or it's Mark Zuckerberg in some derivation of that. Did we miss something? Was there a proposal for an alternative name? Like where was this sentiment that it was going to be named Mark Zuckerberg building? Where did that come from?
I've not heard among all of the comments so far, which number in the hundreds, and I'm looking to my coworkers here to see if I'm missing something, but not once have I heard the name Zuckerberg suggested as a name.
Okay, Meta.
I have heard a couple of commenters suggest various iterations that like include the word meta in there. But not Zuckerberg.
But there was nothing from the city that says, was there? I think it feels like there has been it's either a Meta or it's Onetta Harris. And I think a lot of us are trying to understand, were there any communications from the city or the council or Meta in any way that indicated that this should be or would be or possibly would be Meta?
I've not heard anything from the city council about like the specific names. What we heard from city council was go through this process.
Okay.
And then we will make a decision after the process. And I've not heard of any direction that the name should stay the same or be different. There's been none of that sort of indicating a specific direction as of yet.
So I just want to clarify, I think from all of the things I heard tonight by all the speakers and what we've been hearing in the past, I think there's still some things that need to be clarified with the city, with the residents. I think there's misconceptions that because it was sponsored by Meta, that therefore there might be a connection to the name, whereas we've heard from the presentation that, so I think this needs to be cleared up in whatever form that would look like, so that the public is aware that it's not, it has been recorded that Meta, Facebook, although they've paid for the building, are not going to be connected in naming the building. And that's coming part of to our job as a hearing board to collect the information from the public of naming ideas, and then bringing it also to the city council who will vote on it, so that our body, we have no voting power as well too. So I think there's misconceptions, at least from now that we've joined together, we've been hearing different things. And I know for me, I want to make sure that the public is aware that, that the naming piece with not being Meta, the piece about city council voting, that we are taking an input, recommending from the language as well. We as a board or joint boards could also recommend that we don't, since it's one building, we could also recommend, if I'm seeing this clearly in writing, that it's named Onetta Harris Campus and not name the other 5 parts of the program, and just keep as the buildings related to what they are physically versus having a name. Or we could also present this as an opportunity to create legacies, future legacies, and important other Belhaven or other Menlo Park residents to be added to this smaller program. But I think I'm speaking for myself. I personally feel like it would make sense to continue it to be Annetta Harris campus, the overarching. And if we see that with the input that we're gonna get in the next 4 weeks, that if we think that there are enough public input that wants to have specific names to honor more legacies within each programming, that we would do that. But I think there's just a lot of misconceptions out there that are creating the tension and frustration that I'm hearing. Even I know I'm frustrated hearing certain things and thinking that maybe that's not the right information that people are perceiving. So I just want to make sure that everyone is getting the right information. I know people have been pointing out the truth, so I just want to make sure that we're all hearing the same truth of how this process is working and that we could, as a group, name it. We don't have to have it the 3 ways or the potentially 3 if we decide to just do the 1. Just put that out there.
And I know we'll have like an opportunity at the next meeting as well on October 25th and thereabouts to reinforce some of the messaging as well. So hopefully I'll be an opportunity to do that. Sorry, I'll come back.
Oh, my comment has been covered, so.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, related to Meta and Facebook, I seem to recall, my memory is spotty, but I would love to have, maybe if it's possible to have staff go back and look at the record. I seem to recall being in the city council chamber back in 2019 when Facebook first had, I believe it was either October or November that Facebook made the offer to build the community center. And I remember being in the city council chamber for a city council meeting when a representative from Facebook was there speaking to them. And my recollection is they said, we have no interest in the name of this. We don't want, we're not looking to have this named after Facebook, now Meta. So, and I can only speak for myself personally. I've been on the library commission since 2018. I have never received any directive from anybody that I have to figure out a way to have the Meta name or the Facebook name included in the naming of anything. So this is just my own personal experience, but I would think it's reflective of all of your experiences as well. So while I do think it was a very generous gift, and maybe there is a way for us to find to thank them in either a dedication or a name somewhere. The idea that it's preordained and that we have to come up with something related to Meta or Facebook. I don't see anything in the record of any public meetings that that's the case.
Any other commission comments or questions?
I think it would be helpful, just as Commissioner said, to get a clean history, maybe from staff of what the suggestions were, if any at all. Because again, it's been a lot of hearsay back and forth, and it's very confusing, but it's nice to have some clarity about how to actually approach this, so.
If I understand, I'm just check in again. So at the next meeting over the course of the next 4 weeks, when we meet again as a joint commission on October 25th, we'll have a précis of comments to date, comments tonight, and comments over the next 4 weeks, which you will then present as a summary of potential names as well that we could consider. Obviously, we don't have to, but there's names to do that. Am I getting that, understanding that right? I just want to get a sense of what we're going to meet. We'll see in the next meeting.
So actually, this is probably a good opportunity to put back up on the screen the slide that talks about the next steps in the process. So the intent is, because people take the time to write their comments and send them in, and we have received many, to present all of the comments as written and kind of like an attachment to the report. There will be a lot of them, but we want to make sure that we're just capturing exactly what people say. You know, we redact like profanity and things like that, but otherwise not touch the content itself. Provide a summary you know, of kind of what it, the sum of it kind of is. But again, attach the actual comments so people can check, see if the summary was, you know, true to that. Also, a brief review again of here's what the naming policy says, here's the city council direction. I think I heard a couple of requests for, can you give us some back history, like from the earlier conversations on city council about naming or changing the names, or what folks maybe heard as commitments to do one thing or the other, so we can provide a little bit more of that background. And then what staff proposes, since the direction is pretty clear to identify up to 3 names for the overall facility and up to 3 names for each of the 5, that staff would bring forward, kind of like a matrix. So just kind of showing here's the different, you know, spaces, the different opportunities for naming or dedications, and then like the discussion can kind of unfold from there. If over the next 4 weeks, we receive more, like tonight, we have actually received a written compilation of additional like names, it looks like mostly or entirely of people. If we receive more of those, then we'll be sure to like float those in the summary and try to have at least some context about, you know, who are the people behind the names that have been proposed here. And so that's kind of how staff, I think, conceives that portion of the discussion.
Do we have an opportunity to possibly rename street, or is that outside of our jurisdiction?
Great question. I did hear someone suggest that tonight. There is a different process for renaming a street. Not unlike this one, and I think it goes to a different commission, but it certainly is something that could be among the recommendations. You know, recommend to the city council to look into that if you so choose. So it wouldn't be decided here.
Okay. Any final comments, questions?
I just wanted to kind of +1 to Commissioner Lee and what he said, that I think that what I sensed from this meeting was like a lot of frustration and combativeness. And so finding ways to kind of rebuild trust and like show the integrity of this process. Like there were a lot of, I thought you had a really great list of like myths or sort of like, you know, things that people believe are true but are not factually true. If there was a way for us to work that into the process, right? Like there was a statement saying there were 2 times when when the city promised that the name would not be changed, and here we are discussing changing it. It would be helpful to go back over that and just try to rebuild kind of the sense of we're in this together and we're honoring a high integrity process.
Okay. If that's all the comments and questions, then Sean, did you want to add anything else to the recap? Or is that the only thing you say since the next steps?
Let's see. I think I just covered the next steps, but I think just as maybe in closing, because it seems like we're kind of wrapping up. Just want to get to, yeah, here we go. Just as a reminder, for folks who like kind of fast forward to the end of the video and want to see the important slide there, our current timeline that we're on. So these are some key dates. There's tonight, September 18th, we're having that meeting now. October 25th, that is a Wednesday, would be when the Parks and Rec Commission and Library Commission reconvene. We'll do that here, Wednesday, October 25th, 6:30 p.m. That's when everything we've discussed will come about and the recommendations. November or December to be determined at a regularly scheduled city council meeting, most likely. That's when the city council will review. By October 25th, we will have identified a specific date in November or December for that city council meeting. All of this information will be posted on the city's website, on the Menlo Park Community Campus webpage. Folks can subscribe to receive updates about that. And we'll make sure that anyone who submitted a comment and provided their email address, that they get a direct email to remind them as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you everyone for attending. Thanks, commissioners. Thanks for a great meeting. Appreciate it. I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 10:03 PM. Thank you.
We appreciate your generosity. I know.
Yeah. Nah. Are you ready? Well, get on, check. All right, have a good one. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, all right. You know, safe.
It's hard to. I want to.